You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Bang, 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 bang.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the 416th edition of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. We are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quest with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome everyone, I am Andrew, joined tonight by a few of my favorite Fallout faces. Tonight we've got Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello, hello.
Also Jess. Hey, Jess.
Hey, Andrew. Creeps, everybody.
And returning fan favorite guest, we've got Will. What's up, Will?
Hi, Andrew, everyone. Thank you again for having me back.
I'd like to be the first to wish us off the top of the show for our first episode of the month of June. Happy Pride Month to everyone out there. We are a very inclusive group and celebrate all of those in the group celebrating Pride Month this month. Okay, that's redundant, but happy Pride Month to everyone out there, and wishing you all the best in expressing everything that you hold dear this month. Before we get into the show deep, okay, tonight we've got gameplay. We've also got a couple of quests that we're going to get into for the roundtable. We've got a couple of feedback from Jen, Green Dragon, and Blaze. If there's time, we've got a Fallout Terminal Velocity where if it's been a while since we've had that feature, but that's where we talk about terminals or notes or holotapes and stuff about a certain specific location.
Always time for terminal velocity, right? You just kind of sit down, the game pauses while you're in there. It's fine.
And also some iguana bits tonight. So we'll go ahead and talk about our gameplay and such. But first, I wasn't sure if anyone had heard it. You know, Tenacious D has sort of been our pet band on the podcast for a while now, specifically because of our good buddy Lee and this Lee drop. And congratulations to Lee. He was one of the winners a couple weeks ago on the show. On Game Time, he won a t-shirt, which will be out in the mail probably tomorrow. So keep your eye on the mailbox there, Lee. And also, Eric won a t-shirt that is out on the mail, too. But before we get too deep into the show tonight, I just wanted to play something that references Fallout 4 here real quick. It's a new Tenacious D song. I believe that Dwight posted it in the group a couple of weeks ago, but I would just listen to it again and just am so tickled by this that I just wanted to drop this real quick.
I don't play video games no more. I never play video games, except for a little bit of God of War. I never play video games. Maybe once in a while, a little bit of Fallout 4. But that's okay, not right now. I got things to do, 'cause I don't play video games no more. Never play video games. But Red Dead Redemption 2, that is not a game. It's an incredible journey through old American history. Fighting for your life and fighting for your family. Try to live your days with honor and integrity. That's not a game, that's an adult thing. That's not a game at all. That's like fucking Shakespeare. You know I don't play video games no more. Tiny bit of video game. I guess I still play fucking video games. Yeah.
And that's it. That's one of my favorite things I've heard recently. I just love the Fallout 4 reference and the fact that they're like, oh, you know, we don't play video games anymore because we're adults. Oh, wait, I guess we still do play video games. But, you know, there's like, you know, the Red Dead Redemption 2 reference in there. It's just tickles me fancy. So.
Yeah, that's what Dwight was like, this is exactly us.
Yeah, it is. It totally is. Okay, brilliant stuff from those fellers over there at Tenacious D. And, I just saw an announcement that they're playing in Indianapolis at some huge festival, and I'm like, God, I want to go. Oh, God, it's $200. Oh, and there's all these bands I don't want to see, but do I want to pay $200 just to see Tenacious D?
Wow.
Ugh, I probably would, but I don't know. Goodness, I wish they would just come through town by themselves. I don't need to be at a festival in the middle of, like, July with, 10,000 people all around me, and it's gross. But
Already 80 degrees out there, Andrew.
80?
Yeah.
It's been fucking 95 in Indiana already. It's brutal. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Ugh, who knows? Anyway, sorry. Let's get into a little bit of gameplay, shall we? Hey, Ray, did you get a chance to play any Fallout or any other video games this week?
Fallout is about all I played this week. It was a pretty light week.
I heard you had a good stream last night.
Well, yeah. For anybody that didn't want to hear me talk.
We were wondering. This is just so calm and soothing, and just Ray was just really into the game, right?
I mean, it does happen. I mean, it's not always easy to tell when my mic is muted and when it's not. But yeah, I don't know exactly what happened. I have suspicions, but somehow I managed to software disable my my headset mic.
Oh no.
And so all my insights and witty banter were lost.
So much knowledge lost to the ages, like the sands of time. It was a great stream, though, watching it to Far Harbor and seeing some of the setup you have there with the different UI mods and stuff. I mean, we were blown away in chat just looking at the way your Fallout is set up now.
Yeah, well, and it was easy to concentrate since you didn't have all my blathering on to distract you.
I really like all your map markers, and your colored map is really nice. I like the way that looks.
Yeah, it definitely, it's a nice setup. I like it. I like it because it's got the head stuff disappears when you don't need it. Which I really like.
It's kind of shocking playing Fallout 4, just even with all the HUD stuff on, and then loading Fallout 76, and you're just like bombarded with all the shit all over your screen, and I'm just like, God, I feel like overwhelmed almost by like too much information thrown at me just by the random shit that's happening in the game at this point,
Yeah.
So minimalistic on 4 in comparison.
Yeah, and I was really, I thought that I thought it was going to take longer than it did. It seems like normally the fight on the wall drags out forever, and the trek up the road is constant battle after battle after battle. But it went pretty quick.
Yeah, I think in actual time, it's definitely quicker than we remember it. To be fair, you didn't initially loiter and talk to everyone in town as much, but you did some.
Yeah, no, I only talk to people that I absolutely have to.
You're like, I have standards.
But the other thing is that going through where I had the opportunity to use the Ripper, it melts through targets amazingly fast. I mean, I just if it just touches you, you're dead. And
it was like a mole rat stick. You basically needed to touch them, and they melted. It was amazing. We were laughing about it in chat. Like, Solier has an overpowered katana, and it's got nothing on that Ripper.
So, the challenge is, of course, getting to a point where you can touch somebody with it.
So you use that Ripper at that wall at Far Harbor?
No, I didn't use it at the wall. I just and also I had a problem where activating the software to stream to turned off my ability to access the Pip-Boy.
What?
So I had to reactivate that software again, and then go back in order to get my Pip-Boy back, which it took away my ability to throw grenades, because the other thing is that to activate the NVIDIA software, I have to do Alt-Z, and when I touch the Alt key, it throws a grenade.
Oh gosh.
And so I have to remember to disable the grenades, before I activate the stream. And so when I activated the stream and then went back and couldn't get to my Pip-Boy, I couldn't get grenades. So I just sat up there and plinked at him with my combat rifle, and everybody else threw their Molotov cocktails.
Yeah. 'Cause I was wondering because, the Captain Avery or whatever her name is, she tells you don't fall off that wall when you're there, right? And like Curie, for whatever reason, she's up in my game. She's obsessed with this walking cane that she has. It's a wounded walking cane. So she's like, her and Dogmeat are right down there with all those gulpers and stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, they went out pretty quick. And I'm like, I knew I shouldn't, but I'm just like, I have to go stim pack them. I have to. And it didn't go well. It didn't go well doing that. Next thing I know, I'm on the boat back to Far Harbor again.
Yeah, the gulpers aren't really a problem. I swam over to an island just off of off the coast, and there were 4 gulpers in there, and them I could take care of pretty easy with the Ripper. But the anglers, that spit fireballs.
Okay, yeah.
Anything ranged, I'm hurting. So I stuck it up in the wall. Usually what happens is I get up there and one of the NPCs knocks me off. Because they're just kind of jostling around up there. But I just kind of held back, took a few pot shots. Didn't get a ton of XP for it, but on the road up, after I took out some of the what are the lobstermen?
Trappers.
The trappers. From there on up, it was pretty easy just to stick with the Ripper. The wolves are no problem.
Yeah.
We got wolves. There's like a couple of children of Adam, right? I think, and
there's one that you talk to, but I'm joining the children of Adam, so
you didn't want to kill him.
Yeah. Longfellow didn't appreciate it too much that I spent all that time talking to him.
So question then, real quick, Ray, I'm wondering if I messed up. I know it's not my gameplay, but I'm Children of Adam also. And
Me 3.
I felt like it was like a little too quick to, because that person asks you on the way up there, if you want to join or whatever. And then the options are like, sign me up and all that. And it's like, I barely just met you. And I kind of was thinking that it makes sense that, like, I don't know about that right now. And so I sort of told her no, but I will have opportunities to still join later.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, look, it's kind of like when missionaries show up at your door on Sunday or whatever. If you say no, it doesn't mean they'll never come back.
Right.
Well,
okay.
Trust me, they'll be back.
Right. Because I was a little worried about that, because I think the way I was going to role play it is I decided, as we were walking up there, Longfellow says the fog messes with people's brains, right? Like the trappers or whatever, they were crazy enough before the fog, but apparently it's the fog that kind of turned them like insane or something. So my reasoning for going to Children of the Atom is going to be that like the fog sort of had an effect on my character, and so that's why I wanted to like delay it some.
You're going to discover the Great Division naturally. No, that's fair.
Yeah. But and you have to, even if you tell her yes and that you want to sign up, you still have to do the same exact quest to get in. That you have to do.
Yeah.
If you tell her to pound sand.
So we're going to go through the Far Harbor quest that we did bit by bit in a little bit too.
Sorry.
But no, this is all good. But Ray, like before that, I think you did a lot more in Fallout before you actually hopped on the boat and headed to Far Harbor.
Yeah. So, so I did Mad Rock.
Nice.
You and Andrew both now.
Yeah. And well, and
Ray did
I wasn't going to do
did it.
But then Andrew was asking about the ghoulish perk and where the hell it came from. And so, for science, I had to go do Mad Rock.
It was the weirdest thing. I was like gonna pick a couple of perks because I had a couple of banked, and I just noticed in my endurance column that I had level 3 ghoulish, and I'm like, wait a second, did I absentmindedly accidentally pick 3 perks?
Three of them.
And then
What a waste. All that goulash. Why would that happen?
And then I noticed that they were grayed out above, and I was like, wait a second, I don't have a high enough endurance to get ghoulish. What is going on here? So I took a picture of it and I posted it in our Fallout feed chat thread, and I'm just like, what is going on here, guys? I don't like, did I accidentally randomly do how did this happen? And then I just like proposed, wait a second, did it by chance, was it a reward for something? Was it Vault 28? Because I did Vault 28 this week. And then I was like, well, could it be Mad Rock or something? So Ray was like, okay, I haven't done it yet, I'm on it, I'll figure it out. So like Ray went off and did Mad Rock to try to figure out where those ghoulish levels came from.
We had guessed it was Mad Rock because of the fact that a lot of it is just weird like that from what y'all have said. But now you guys know for sure and have experienced it that yes, Mad Rock does give you ghoulish. So if you're doing that with Vault 28 and you have a problem with radiation, doing Mad Rock first really helps.
Yeah.
Also, it's going to help in survival on Far Harbor a lot too, because rads in the fog is a huge thing in Far Harbor when you hit the little fog clusters.
So you keep the ghoulish in; it doesn't go away once you leave Mad Rock.
Yeah, they give you level 3 ghoulish, and the radiation heals your damage. Now it doesn't make your radiation go away, so you still gather radiation. But if you have, health, if there's a space in between your health and the radiation, and you're taking rads, like I was fighting the ghouls down in Vault 28, and they were beating on me, giving me lots of radiation, but it was actually healing me.
Yeah, so that perk has had me like confused my entire life. I think of playing Fallout 4. So it is, you only have health up to the rate. Like I know in Fallout 76, you're like that's how you play bloodied. You cap your health using radiation. But then when I was reading Steven saying he's doing like this radiation build, it made it sound like the 2 meters, the health and the rad meters, are independent, and you can actually have full health while like being fully irradiated. Is that right? Or no? Like
no, it's like 76.
It is like 76.
Your health, into your HP bar.
Yep, it is a balance, and at the highest level, it does start to heal regular. Like the radiation goes away and the health goes up. Right at the highest rank of ghoulish.
4, I believe. Right.
Yeah,
that's at level 4.
Both. Yeah. But so Mad Rock was kind of interesting because I had a lot of rendering problems with that. When you pass by Billy's fridge, you climb up this rock face that has a bunch of stair steps. Well, the first time I got in there, it's fine. I take the stairs up, of course, so I have cleared out University Point for the railroad. And so there is a bed in the little hotel building, at the front of University Point. So that was my save point. And I went back there probably 10, 11 times.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, you kind of have to. It's living on the edge in there.
So the second time I went back there, so the stairs didn't render. And so I was like, okay, well, how am I going to get up there? So I start hopping around and, I get I get in this little rock crevice, and the stairs render in and on top of me. And so now I'm stuck inside the stairs, trapped in the rocks. Like, crap. Okay. So I had to restart.
Oh no. Welcome to Angry Rock. That is bad. So not only is it difficult, but it also sabotaged you.
Yeah. I got stuck in the wall once. So I walked through a new area I hadn't been through yet. And all of a sudden I found I was in the middle of a wall. And so I'm like, well, crap. So I had to reload again on that.
You're having a good old time.
There were multiple times where, I would walk into a space and then all of a sudden right next to me would appear a hellhound or, 5 ghouls or, any number of things would just kind of, spawn in, after I had entered a cell.
Is it fair to say some fan-made mods are really not made for survival?
It was a challenge.
See, I didn't
like it.
I didn't have any of your rendering issues. Like my stairs never went away. I never magically walked through walls or anything. But I'm of the opinion that when you approach these different areas of Mad Rock, that there are little altars that, there'll be a trap and it'll fling skeletons at you and then stuff will appear. That the stuff appearing out of nowhere happened to me as well, but I'm thinking that it's not an accident of the mod, but that's supposed to happen. Like ghosts are appearing out of nowhere. Their hellhounds just pop up, and because they are apparitions, they're not actually, there, but it's just like the swarm of ants just appeared in my face out of nowhere, you know what I mean? And so I'm sort of thinking that as you approach the altars, you don't actually see the altar, but then all of a sudden, boom, there's flames, and then hellhounds are like at your feet.
Yeah, things are supposed to render in like that, you mean, and spawn on top of you to scare you?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a spooky surprise more than an accident. Well, I think that part is on purpose.
It's a spooky murder. Because I had one where a hellhound spawned right in front of me, and so I quick reacted and killed it, but then I didn't notice that there was also one behind me that bit me once and killed me. Yeah,
that happened to me as well. And the swarm of ants, one spawned in behind me and one in front of me. I killed the one in front of me, but I'm like, what the hell is hitting me? There's one behind me as well. Yeah.
So it was definitely a challenge, and it's lots of twists and turns and dead ends, and it was definitely interesting, and it was fun once I was all done, and turned lava into water.
Once it was all
over. Good.
Yeah. Let's have run to the highest peak to get the key, to get down to the basement door, to get to the east wing, to go get over here, to get that key, and lots of twists and turns, and pick up the key on the opposite fucking end of the thing to get to the other,
Were there any fights that you felt were unfair? Was that most of them, or?
No, really the worst one was when you get to the ants.
Okay, so that room with the ants and the hellhounds and everything that come flying at your face. Okay.
Because that was I ultimately had to dash into the cell so that everything would spawn, and then run out as quick as I could and try to pick them off one at a time. Now, so evidently ants can kill you through a wall.
They're
turkey buggers. They get in the house no matter what. Yeah.
So that was a challenge at one point, but eventually, you get lucky and kill them all, and it's I tried throwing Molotovs. initially, but I couldn't get to a point where I could get them to spawn and throw, a Molotov that would affect them without killing myself.
So by the time you're near enough for them to spawn in, it's too close for something
Yeah.
thrown like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know Andrew's going to have a few fine points to add when it's his time, but both of you, is this a mod you would recommend other people try, or would you say, no, don't bother?
I would say if you really need ghoulish, or if you were playing on normal mode.
Okay, in normal. And do you think the story, the Dunwich Borers stuff, was interesting enough? Did they do an okay job with that?
It was really light on story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew, would you recommend?
As Ray said, if ghoulish would help you, which now that I have used it a little bit, I'm thinking, wow, this is not a perk I've ever aimed to use really, but it's totally useful. I did Mad Rock and then Vault 28, and like I said, it was very helpful because those ghouls down there are super tough, and they were, healing me as they were, supposed to be killing me, and they were just beating on me hard, and those ghouls down there are no joke. They're super powerful, and they all have hair for some reason. But but it was I didn't die nearly as much in Vault 28 as I would have had I not had ghoulish. So I
and as you mentioned, it's going to help in Far Harbor now that we're over in Far Harbor.
Lee's asking if I got the 4th level of ghoulish. It won't let me take it, Lee, because my endurance isn't high enough. The level 3 is the reward from the mod, but you still have to have endurance high enough to get the 4th level of it. I haven't earned that yet. So
Totally fair.
I cut you off, Will. What were you saying?
Oh no, I was just saying because y'all brought up it was going to help in Far Harbor, which it absolutely will, because I went in, it's like right away I realized, oh wait, I forgot. Yeah, this fog gives us radiation. We're taking radiation, and especially in survival, I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I'm going to take Rad-X, but now it's going to make me vulnerable or susceptible rather to various ailments as we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then
it's got a great view.
Yeah, it's very cool. It looks neat. The way it's pieced together, I think, is slightly strange. Like, it was a little bit different than any other level that you would play in the game. But I feel like it's worth playing through.
Okay. When it was on the featured mod list, I'm pretty sure it was around Halloween, like September or October one year, a couple years ago. So that makes sense why they would spotlight it, and it's something different. So I'm glad you guys tried it. So we hit a couple now. We hit most of the story quest mods we were talking about doing.
Where did the ants come from? Were those introduced in Nuka World or Far Harbor?
I think Nuka World.
Nuka World? Okay.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I don't remember them anywhere else.
They are a pain in the fucking ass. They suck.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, that was the hardest thing. There's a couple of hellhounds, which are just like mongrels that are glowing green. They might have a little green smoke or something around them. I don't remember if there was anything really different about them. But those,
and the good thing was, you get ant meat and you get mongrel meat. So,
and there were some just feral ghouls walking around too. I assume that had something to do with the Dunwich story, which Ray is correct. There aren't like a bunch of terminals and letters and stuff around explaining the story, but like after I'd played it, I read a little bit more trying to figure out where this ghoulish stuff came from. And I seriously had no idea that there was a Dunwich connection to it until after I was reading stuff about it. I was like, oh, okay. So it's not heavy on story by any means, like Ray said, but I think it's worth it to at least play through it once. And like ghoulish is totally fun. And I was going to ask, are there other instances where perks are rewarded like this?
It's normally not a perk tree perk. You definitely get bonus perks for certain things, where suddenly you do something, you get an ability, and it might even show like in Fallout 4, when you get companion affinity perks and stuff like that, they pop into your actual perk list. So you get things that are like perks for quest rewards or for achieving things in game. But I don't think there's any other instance where it unlocks any unlockable perk for you, aside from bobbleheads, technically, since you get, special from that.
Yeah, special only, but not specific things in the perk chart.
But a lot of the games do have it where, you get a bonus after dealing with a special quest.
Yeah. I was just trying to think, are there other... See, because then I would want to collect all the mods that are just like, here are the ones that cheat you perks before you earn them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you grabbing all the bobbleheads or getting special clothing. Like, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. And this one, the mod author doesn't even mention it in the mod description. It's not in the comments for the the Nexus thread.
Before Ray even played it, he was like, I'm reading the description. It doesn't mention anything about that. That's really weird. I'm like, I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
So.
Did you find it sort of essential for getting through that mod? Like, did it help that much?
Not at all. It had nothing to do with that mod as far as I could tell. Like, the ghouls, I guess, when they hit you, they give radiation, but there's no, like, fog of radiation. There's no... I didn't find any barrels anywhere that were giving 50 rads per second or anything crazy like that.
It'll help after. You probably don't get it till the completion anyway. So, it's for other things in the future. So outside of that, Ray, did you get anywhere else in the Commonwealth?
Well, lucky enough, right outside the entrance to Mad Rock is, hey, let me out. Our little buddy Billy, who I immediately returned home.
You sold him to.
We did get stopped along the way by this nice guy named Bullet.
This nice guy, listen to him.
So naturally, he was willing to save me the trip, and since I'm in survival, walking all the way down to Quincy, that could easily cost me more than 250 caps in supplies.
Just that walk.
So I said, sure, go ahead and take him, but then I realized that he had ill intentions, and so I killed him.
So if you sell him, then kill him, I assume you just get to keep the caps, and then you can return Billy from there, or does Billy then abandon you and run home?
No, Billy gets mad at you because you didn't tell him the plan ahead of time. But, dude, you were stuck in a fridge. I can't count on you to be able to sell this and act like, you were actually being sold if you already knew about it.
Yeah, dumb kid. You're dumb enough to get stuck in a dumb fridge, dummy.
Yeah. So he complains about, you not telling him the plan. But, you tell him, come on, I'll take you home. And, he's okay. So.
Oh, nice.
And then when you get him back to his house, of course, his folks pay you. And by killing Bullet, you don't have that fight afterwards where Bullet and some of his friends come along,
the Raiders,
and try to take him back.
Well, that's the best way to do it then, is because you get to double dip the caps then.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And he's not aggro to you at that point. So I just walked right up to him and tapped him on the shoulder with my ripper, and he blew apart.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, I had Billy with me when I was running around Mad Rock, and Bullet was running around with us too for a while.
Oh, nice.
He was up there. He was up there running on the platforms and the little pathways and stuff. And then he finally caught up to us and did the whole interaction. And I told him to fuck off. But yeah, I thought that was funny. That he was up in that tower as well. But yeah, it took me off guard because I was approaching Mad Rock and I heard this ghostly voice I was like, oh, there's spirits here. And then I saw the fridge. I was like, oh no, it's just Billy in the fucking fridge.
Yeah.
I thought it was voices from the castle.
Yeah. And since I was right there, I popped in and visited the Atom Cats.
Nice.
Got myself a nice
Power armor set.
jacket and jeans.
Oh, there's a bobblehead
Awesome.
over there. I forgot.
Yeah,
Isn't
the
there?
unarmed bobblehead, which is nothing more than a decoration for me.
Ripper's not an unarmed weapon.
No.
That's basically just
Looks good as a hood ornament on that car, though.
It is.
Yeah.
So unarmed is just like the power fist, knuckles, Deathclaw gauntlet.
Yeah.
Is that it, basically? Okay.
Yeah. And so the one thing I wanted to do before I got to Far Harbor, one I needed a level because I've had to pour so many levels into getting the perk assignments that I haven't been able to get any of the truly useful perks like sneak.
Hey.
And so I did want to get a level before I got to Far Harbor to be able to get sneak. And so I did the Cabot House quest. So
very nice. I mean, that's a big long one. Really, there's a lot of traveling back and forth, up north, back down,
all the way up to that hospital and back there. Yeah,
unless you swim.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, even swimming is pretty hard. You can't swim all the way up there, can you? Is there a river that goes through the water up there? Oh my goodness.
The only place you have there's behind
Finch Farm and
the Gunners,
and the Forge,
between
right?
the Gunners at the wrecking yard and the Forge at the foundry.
Yeah, the Forge.
There's a little gully that runs, along between the two of them. And so I was able to just walk right through there, and neither, it was out of sight of both of them. And so I went right from the ocean up that little, gully right into the river and swam up to Parsons. And easy peasy.
That's amazing. That's amazing you're able to do that. I mean, but there's still, you got to go to the amphitheater and talk to Imogene, and you got to, there's all that stuff. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Well
the furthest inland I got was Good Neighbor.
Yeah, Ray knows like every little creek and stuff in Fallout 4 now.
And, I have very strategically located settlements so that they're all right on bodies of water. So
waterfront property, Ray. That's the investment, right?
Yeah, the most valuable.
Ray's Guide to the Waterways of the Commonwealth.
So that one was actually pretty fun. My usual tack on that is, always side with Lorenzo.
Let him walk around, right?
Ridiculous. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Because he's always fun to run into. He's so eloquent and, nice and kind. And you never, ever see Lorenzo kill anyone except for his family.
So only those who stand against him.
Even that, so I had enough charisma to convince Edward that Jack was in the wrong. And so Lorenzo didn't even kill any of his family.
Wow.
Edward took everybody out.
Oh, Edward killed everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's better, Ray. I'm
Totally better.
That's really neat, though. Just the idea of him walking the Commonwealth. So I've never taken the Lorenzo ending, but you've talked about it before.
Yeah.
And I guess it makes sense. But it's like, I don't know, it's like unleashing, like from not it. What is like The Stand? It's, it's like Randall Flagg or something. Like I picture him as like this ultimate evil creature walking the land. But you're saying he's really not like that.
But no, I mean, you don't see him kill anybody. He's
because he kills everyone with
for his
mind.
research. He's examining corpses that are laying on the ground.
Is he making those corpses, Ray?
But there's no indication at all anywhere that he's killing those people.
Well, maybe we judged him wrong.
What about the
I think
serum?
you have.
That Randall Flagg, that's a good little comparison. I hadn't thought of it, but that's kind of the way I would think of Lorenzo.
Yeah. I mean, he is just curious about what's happened the last 400 years since he was locked away in the basement at the insane asylum.
How old is Jack?
They are all
of them are that old? Okay.
Yeah.
He's like 25 years younger, right? Maybe 30 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
But still hundreds of years old. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
they've managed to keep themselves, from becoming ghouls by,
the serum stuff.
Pumping Dad's blood into their own veins.
And the mysterious serum, can you just pick it up off of Jack's corpse or something? Do you still have access to that stuff?
You get... so I got one vial off of one of the raiders that you kill on the way in.
Okay.
I got one from the named raider in the final room, the boss guy. And then three or four more off of a table in that room.
Nice.
And then Lorenzo gives you one.
Nice. Because usually you go away for a week and the Jack says come back and he hooks you up later, right?
No, Jack doesn't.
Not Jack. Who does?
No, Jack won't give you any serum.
Who gives you serum? I forget.
You do get some. You do get some when you do it.
All you get from him is, I mean, you can pick up the serums that you find in the room, before you kill Lorenzo.
Then why does he tell you to go away for a week? Bad
mad woman.
Horrible.
But he doesn't give you any more. He gives you a Zeta gun.
Oh, right. Useless.
So, if you want to survive any of my playthroughs, you need to give the best reward.
Right.
Because
that's fair. No, that right versus wrong. No, it's good prize.
It's live
the
versus
apocalypse.
Death. Right.
There's it's good shit versus bad shit. So, so then from there I zipped off and swam up to the Nakana residence, and hopped the boat
off to Far Harbor. All right. Any other gameplay stuff you want to mention, Ray?
Any Mac users, No Man's Sky is now available for Mac.
Whoa.
Unbelievable.
Yep. So you can play it on Mac, PC, Xbox,
Switch.
PlayStation,
it's on
Switch
now too, right?
Steam Deck.
So what I'm hearing is Skyrim has a new rival for the most devices and stuff that a game is on.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for No Man's Sky on Alexa.
On my phone, yeah. Alexa, launch ship. That'd be great.
So, but that was about it.
Super cool. All right, Ray. Good job. Hey, how about you, Jess? Did you get a chance to play any Fallout this week?
I played a lot. I'm going to summarize. Like Will and I were talking when, pre-show a little bit, just like we played so much Fallout this week. I did, you guys. I played so much. So 76, just a little last weekend. That's all I did in there was jump in, and I did an expedition. I just stuck with my friend Shreds and a few of our other friends, did expeditions and events, and that kind of like fun time Fallout 76 stuff. Like when you're not there for a quest or a purpose or a photo or video, like we often are, just jumping in and hanging out with friends and doing events, that's really what 76 is a lot, is a social space when you don't have a specific goal. But Fallout 4, I had a lot of catching up to do, because obviously I've been keeping up. We talked about how I started in the Northwest, but I had reached out, but there were things I felt like I needed to accomplish before I could actually go to Far Harbor. So I wanted to check that list off. And of course, I got distracted a lot along the way because, who doesn't? So my assigned romance was Curie. So far I'd gotten my assigned settlement of Oberland. And I'd gotten my assigned romance of Curie, but I hadn't gotten my follower of Deacon. And my faction is Minutemen, so I had to obviously work on settlements and increase the number of those I had across the map. So my goal was just kind of, actually broaden things out. So I think I talked last week. Yeah, I did, where for the last stream, I had gone to Diamond City, started there, picked up a bunch of quests, but only done a few, and then hooked up Oberland. So this week, well, the big thing was at the end of the last episode, the dun, dun, dun. Could I get out of Diamond City? Yes, I had to go onto the Series X. I had to play there, and I was able to leave Diamond City because the Series S will not. I then tried uninstalling mods and seeing if it worked any better with certain mods on the S. While I could navigate the city, the area around Diamond City was still giving me a little bit of trouble with everything else I have installed. So I think I may have borked it. On the S a little bit by trying to run so many mods. I'm still going to tweak it. We'll find out. But meanwhile, I just played on the X all week because that's fine. That's what I built this mod list and tested this mod list on. The S was just a bonus. Do I want to play? And so I can just move the other Xbox downstairs to play. But I made it out of Diamond City. So I started doing some settlement polishing and setup. I went and I'm like, if Oberland is my main settlement, I have to actually do something there. So I started building a mid-century modern house because in the Creation Club, there are a lot of cool kits there. And I've got all the ones that come with, build sets and settlement-related stuff. So, the modern lights pack and the high-tech furnishings. And so I built a nice mid-century modern house at Oberland, and I ended up sending Curie down there because I had sent her up to Sanctuary. But she and Codsworth weren't playing nice. I don't know if any of you have found this. They weren't fighting or anything like that. They weren't having little robot slap fights. But they try to kind of wander the same path. You know how Codsworth has his little path where he hangs out in the house, and then he's like, I'm a robot. I'm going to go up the road, and I'm going to go around the circle. I'm going to check out this house, and then back to it. Having them both in the settlement made them very annoyed. One would do the path, and the other one would just kind of pout. They'd go behind the workshop house and just sit there and stare at a potato plant. And I'm like, dude, you're not going to find God in a potato plant. But he just sit there and stare at it for days. Didn't move. So
she was still in a robot form.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's still in robot. She's not human for me yet. Even now, she still isn't. So, I'm like, okay, she needs her space. I'm going to set up a nice clinic down in Oberland since that's my main settlement. So she's moved down there, and I've got Oberland built up a bit. But really, seriously, what I've been building up is Starlight more than Oberland because that's going to be my center. I talked about how I want to have it kind of as a trade center for the area and all my supply line spokes out there for the Minutemen. And then Oberland was going to be a third. So really the settlements I have built up are Sanctuary, Starlight, and then Oberland. But as I went through, at this point, I think I have 11 settlements, but we'll get to that. So anyway, I did a lot of settlement polishing. It's looking real nice, but boy, does that take time. You just start, as soon as you start shuffling people around and being like, oh, I've only got 2 settlers there. I need 3 or 4. And then you start moving them and pulling more in. But I really like my Starlight. We've got a nice cafe there now. I've got a bunch of, I set up I've got an area for the kids. I've got a nice sales area. Ada is there because I started Ada. Anyway, keep on going with my Fallout 4 play. So let's just sum it up with some highlights. So yeah. Oh, Mama Murphy too. When I was up in Sanctuary, I did get her off the drugs. I got her off the drugs, and she cleans up real nice. So one of these clothing mods I have, it has this bathrobe.
She can change clothes.
Yeah. If you give something inventory and you force her to put something else on, you click Y to equip, or the button to equip like you do anything. She will change clothes too, but everybody else will swap out their regular outfit into their inventory, and then you can swap it back. Mama Murphy, once she puts on something, her Mama Murphy outfit is gone forever. At least on Xbox, that's the case. So she's now stuck in this bathrobe, and I didn't realize when I signed it to her they were going to make it a super short bathrobe. So she's got we've got the little there's a lot of upper thigh. I'll just put it that way. There's a whole lot of upper thigh, maybe a little bit of a peeking out. So yeah. So I'm just telling her, stay in your chair, Mama Murphy. Can I get you a blanket, please? A big blanket. So that's my Mama Murphy now. It's funny too, because I have the makeup mod on her. She's got a lot of makeup. So someone the other day said she looked like a lot lizard when they were watching. I'm like, a lot lizard? What is that? And then I looked at her, I'm like, okay. No. Now she's dressed like one too.
Yeah, that's so fun. I've never thought of like I do that with plenty of people, like change your attire, like settlers and all that. But I don't know why. It's never occurred to me that to have Mama Murphy change her clothes. That's funny.
It shouldn't have occurred to me either, and yet it did. So I'm living with the consequences. So besides that, let's see. So yeah, so I had to go get Deacon. So I spent one whole night. I think this was Monday or Tuesday night. I'm like, I have to make it to the railroad. Okay, so to find them. So I trekking across Boston proper from unlocked Hangman's Alley, got that settlement. Using that as my forward base, going down. But on the way to getting to the railroad, be a good neighbor. I tried to stay to the north side of Diamond City just to avoid some of the enemies. But I did come up, of course, you come up Swan's area from the north. But there are so many little incidental locations on the way there. Places there are some that obviously everyone knows, like the Marlborough House. Like the Gunners have a forward base in the Marlborough House where they're setting up to storm hallucinogen. And there's like some really interesting little story bits there you can run into, but a lot of little rooms and buildings. Some of them are for mods because if you use things like Crowded Commonwealth or Stumble Upon Housing, whatever it's called there, stuff like that. Crowded Commonwealth, they do add up. Yeah, Plenty O exploration, exactly. I didn't use Plenty O this time because that's mostly in Concord, and I didn't want to get stuck in Concord. I've been known to do that well. You know how we are playing slow. If there's 20 buildings to explore in Concord, I'm exploring all 20 buildings and not getting the rest of the game for a while.
It's so hard to just pass by these things. I see a door, it's like, I don't think I've seen this door before. I have somewhere I have to go. It's like, do I go in? It's like,
then we're in survival. So you get yourself cucumbered. You got to kind of waddle back. And yeah, it's rough. Oh my gosh. I found this coolest place though, in Stumble Upon. I hadn't been into the, I believe it's the North End Crypt, I think it's called. It's kind of near Good Neighbor. Anyway, long story short, because it's going long already, I did make it across towards the road, but I stopped in Good Neighbor there. I made it to Good Neighbor. I ran into some, just cool characters on the way. I crept into outside of Good Neighbor. I did have a really fun fight with Gunners and Super Mutants, and I got involved in all of it. And luckily, they mostly took each other out, and then I took the rest of them out. And I got in there, and because I got my jetpack, I was able to get in there and get the strength bobblehead. So I did fly up inside the Mass Fusion building, jetpack my way up inside the building. It worked. Got up and landed on top of that statue. But in so doing, I got the Gunner Commander and everybody else mad at me. This is probably like level 24 to 28 at this point. And so everybody's following me. So I'm like, okay, better part of Valor. Let's get the hell out of here because these guys are higher level than me and they've got these laser guns. And so I go and I run down and I go through the door. What does it do but drag every enemy who's aggro to me out the door with me?
Oh, no.
So I was getting straight murderated outside. It took 2 or 3 tries. The third try, they all popped out. But I mean, I grabbed a Psycho Jet and, pretty much all the drugs, This is somewhere where I have to say the randomizer, we hadn't used Ghoulish before. I mean, you got that from a quest one, not the randomizer, but trying perks you don't usually use. So I never use chem resistant. Chems have always been currency. And I mentioned, I think a week or two ago, that 50% was good, but I was going to get my chem resistant all the way up so I could take all the chems I wanted and not get addicted. Wow, has that changed my playthrough? When I'm in a really desperate situation, especially in survival, I can use that buff jet or that psycho jet or that, regular plain jet. I can use any drug I want and like Med-X and I'm not getting addicted. Now, it does make some companions mad if you have companions with you, of course.
Yeah.
But I've been solo surviving it, and Dogmeat doesn't judge. Dogmeat's like, hey, you have fun, He's got his teddy bear, I've got my jet, same thing. So it's been helpful. So I did manage to survive and got the strength bobblehead, which was cool.
Did you get those special pieces of armor or whatever that are in there in Mass Fusion?
No, I don't think so. I kind of went in straight up and straight down. I didn't want to.
Because that's one that's like really, really hard to get unless you have the jetpack.
Right.
I'm gonna have to give that a try then. I mean, I'll be back. I was just more worried about crashing and losing my progress and stuff like that.
Isn't that the one that lets you jump off buildings?
Yeah.
Yeah, the jetpack.
No, the armor.
The armor.
Ooh, nice. Well, having my jetpack reduces fall damage anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm able to take some, take some real chances with it, which is nice. So I got into Good Neighbor. Did all the basic things there, met Cleo, sold my stuff, did, all the usual Good Neighbor things. I found that So I decided I was going to talk to Magnolia after I sold and met everybody. I'm not going to do Bobby Nono's class, not going to do that stuff yet because I was on a goal. I was trying to get to the railroad. And it's so easy to get distracted. There's so much to do in the Commonwealth. So I went to the third rail and I'm like, you know what? Let's meet Magnolia and see what happens. So the vibes there are wonderful. And I've, of course, got the ELFX mod, which the lighting in there is even nicer. Turns out, since I never went to Bob Rob's, I never went to the Dugout Inn, I actually met Edward there, talking to Edward Deegan from the Cabot Quest. So instead of meeting him like I normally would with Vadim and Yafim, he was here in third rail.
Oh, wow. Every time I have ever met him, it's been at
the Dugout Inn?
No, at the caravan place with the monument out front.
Oh, Bunker Hill.
Bunker Hill. Yeah, I've never not met him there.
Probably which the three places you go to first. Yeah, so I've always met him at Dugout. I would say every time, but I might have actually done Bunker Hill once before.
Yeah.
Never met him at third rail. So that's where I met him this time.
And I don't typically go to the Dugout Inn.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Because then you might have to help Travis, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah, no.
There.
Or talk to those guys.
That was the first thing I did this time. I went to go rent that room stat to get a bed.
Yeah, need that.
That room is super helpful getting a bed there. Yeah. So what I failed his speech challenge, and then I went to talk to Magnolia and Whitechapel Charlie and failed their speech challenges. And I'm like, I've got a charisma of 6. I even put on the charisma dress, but I wasn't. I got like 1 success out of like 10. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to redo this. So I loaded in. I put on my charisma dress. I read my, meeting people magazine. Like I did all the things to basically be ready to do persuasion. I saved it, and I'm going through, and it's golden. It's great. I'm getting extra money for when I ever do the Cabot Quest from Deegan. I talked him up twice. Whitechapel Charlie, I got all the skinny on the town, and then Magnolia. Well, she was very happy to see me, Sugar, and we had a nice talk, and then we went to make some beautiful music together, and my game crashed. So,
no.
Pushing through all those challenges, my game crashed, and it happened twice. I'm like, okay. Last time my game was crashing bad, it was the ELFX mod. So I decided to load in and try just going to the Rexford Motel, where you end up. Yeah, can't get into Hotel Rexford. So once again, if you're on Xbox and you're crashing for some reason, just disable ELFX, see if you can get into a building. I was able to do that, get in there. Everything was fine. So that was really fun. And I got a lot of photos. Oh, well, I got some great photos with Magnolia and all through that. All through the third rail. Yeah, it was fun. So let's see.
Did you get the Vault-Tec guy?
Oh,
did you send him to Sanctuary?
I did. Yeah. Which I have to say, like, why do we always send him to Sanctuary?
Well, because you have to.
That's the option.
That's the only place, right?
Yeah, that's
from there
the only
you can
place
send him anywhere.
Yeah,
like
from there you can reroute him.
Yeah.
Right, because you say, I'll meet you in Sanctuary. So you go up there, and he's like, oh, I didn't know you were going to show. And then from there, when you talk to him, you can send him wherever you want. But I just keep him Sanctuary. But once you do that, he's all, every time you see him, he's all like, since we talked, I'm feeling swell.
Yeah, my Vault-Tec guy's stuck in Hotel Rexford. Like he won't go to Sanctuary. All that happens because I've gone back a couple of times for other things, and I went there, and he's still standing in front of that door, and he's like, "You're gonna come visit me, right? In Sanctuary?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you go,
if you go, dude." Hilarious.
So from there, from Good Neighbor, basically that was that night, and I ended up next day I went and played again, see how much I could do. Like I put a good probably 4 to 5 hours of Fallout in like most nights this week. Like I played a lot, nice. But things take longer in survival, and I'm slower in general anyway, as some of you know. I get distracted. And so I went, and I'm trying to get to the railroad. And going north from Good Neighbor, it does work fine on the Series X. I didn't crash. I do have the Bostonless Enemies mod and a few things that are helping, and the texture I'm using, it's working okay. But I did avoid Faneuil Hall. But I went by the old bookstore, Haymarket Square, and Faneuil Hall is the very worst. So I missed Faneuil. I went through the other way. Plenty of enemies still, by the way. If people wondering about using the Bostonless Enemies mod, plenty of enemies. It reduces some random spawns for the AI, but most of the clusters are still there. It just keeps you reading quite as many random people. I got into the well, the location where you find the railroad. I could probably spoil it for everybody. You guys know the drill. But I get in there and I solve the puzzle, which, I know it's not much of a puzzle, but I was thinking about it. Okay, because you guys know how I feel about the railroad, and I even had that like little debate last fall, stuff like that. It really, some people say, oh, it's too easy, too obvious, but it's really not. First of all, you're the first person, as I say, to even follow the Freedom Trail like that, to, if they even caught the clues of what that means. So you have to not only make it to the Old North Church in the middle of this area that has a lot of super mutants, but you have to make it through the catacombs and the ghouls. Then you have to know that the reason you're there is to find the railroad specifically. If you don't know that, you're never going to guess the clue. So you have to know that it's the railroad. And then once you have to figure out how it works and even know that this is a puzzle and a trigger, like, I don't know. I thought it was pretty tricky. Then you get inside and you're into them and you've got Desdemona and Glory and Drummer Boy and the Deacon comes in and you talk to them all and they block it off. Like, even though you get in there to meet them for this meeting, it's just a meeting location. You can't get to the rest of the base now. It's actually all buried and hidden. Mm-hmm. So at that point, if you make it in there, not only are they aware you're there, they know you're coming, they decide to let you in without stopping you. But even if you were to kill them all, you couldn't get through there into the rest of the base because of the way it's set up. So there's some secrecy is what I'm saying. It's not like they're, they're rolling out the carpet.
And if you actually do the Freedom Trail and hit each one of the markers, it gives you the code.
Each
because
letter.
It has a number and an arrow pointing to the letter.
Yes.
So, if you do it the proper way,
it does help you break the code at the same time.
It gives you the code. So, there are mods that'll randomize it.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's interesting.
If you play it through, it's not an easy thing to guess.
Sillior says, you mean password is their password? No, their password is not password.
No, it's their dog's name.
It's Deacon Rules.
So I don't know if the dialogue changes if you, during that playthrough, physically go to each one of those locations. But if there's been times where I've just gone directly to, to the Old North Church, and Deacon doesn't even know who I am. I haven't gotten the quest started by the two guys in Diamond City. Wow. She lays it on. Like, you just stumbled in here and were able to guess the password to the secret door and everything. So I don't know if you actually go to each location, if it'll skip that part of the dialogue.
So I don't think that it skips all of it, but it definitely skips some. I mean, obviously Deacon calls out whatever a major accomplishment or two that you've done along the way, if you've done any, which is cool that I've never not done anything like notable before I got to him before to hear that. But this time he didn't have much because I've done so little on the main quest. He just had, General the Minutemen, getting the Minutemen started back up, stuff like that. Like he mentioned that, but he wasn't able to, talk about a whole lot else. So he might've mentioned Vault 81. So I'm kind of,
he'll just say, he or she made it here. They must be, something.
Oh, okay. So they still will let you kind of
you can still join.
But it's nice how they come up with different things. So but I have definitely done the actual puzzle properly the first time, at least. This time I definitely skipped most of it. I skipped probably half the locations that you would go to on the way. So I do that. I get Deacon and I get the quest all set up to, join the railroad. Now, you're just let in as a tourist. And Deacon, a tourist is basically someone who occasionally helps them, once, twice a month, just a resource. If they need you, you're there. Deacon says, with your skills and what I see for you, that would be a real waste. So we got a plan. We're going to show Desdemona, you should be a full agent. So long story short, you get the thing to do the switchboard. People know that quest. We've talked through it before. Here is the bad thing. So your girl has been talking up how much I love Lone Wanderer, okay, as the sole survivor. Well, now I've got Deacon with me. Actually, not right away. I can tell him I'm going to meet him at the switchboard, but I have to start playing with a character. So, what the big thing I have now after I go back to Starlight and do some building, this and that, and try to scrap as much as I can, carry weight. When I have Deacon with me as a companion, I'm down to like 130, 135 max carry weight. And, I can get down to about 110 when I leave my settlement, but that's not much buffer room. You can hardly pick up anything, you know what I mean, before you're hitting the edge. So meeting him and learning stuff about the roll sign, going through and doing the switchboard quest, constantly hitting over encumbered and making choices like which one's more valuable. Like I'm picking stuff up and dropping it, picking stuff up and dropping it. It was a challenge. But I'm pretty much playing with a companion nonstop since getting him because Deacon is assigned. So I'm like, okay, now I've got Deacon. He's my assigned companion. So I'm just going to have to suck it up. And little by little, I've made adjustments. As I've leveled up, I've put points in strength a couple times now. I just finally got to where I was able to add one for the carry weight strong back perk. So now each time I get a strong back, that'll be plus 25. So thank goodness for that. I'm changing my armor to be pocketed. Like I was playing with different armor effects. It was nice to have, lead lined and custom fitted and fun stuff like that. But nope, now it's getting all pocketed. And so
deep pocketed.
I don't have armor yet to do deep pocketed, but I'll get there.
I was wondering because I don't have any deep pocketed yet either, and I was thinking, it's like, man, is this just a 76 thing? Am I making that up? Like, shouldn't I be able to get deep pocketed sometime?
No. Yeah, but it does take high armor.
It's
So the other thing you need to do the Cabot quest and side with Lorenzo. Because
you're gonna get me to side with Lorenzo. You're gonna do it, aren't you?
this Mysterious Serum gives you +5 strength.
Oh,
So there's 50 carry weight right there.
oh, that's pretty sweet. That is pretty sweet.
How long does the
And-
serum last?
A long time. I don't remember exactly how long, but it's a really long time. And if she's got chem resistant, Chemist is the one that makes them last longer, right?
It has a 5, yeah. Chemist lasts longer. Chemist keeps getting addicted. So on
Okay.
the Mysterious Serum has isn't it like the number 5 in a big old swirly set? Does that mean like it lasts for 5 days, maybe 5 in-game days?
Mm, I don't know.
It lasts a long time.
It
Anyhow.
does last.
I never
So-
know how long anything lasts.
We finished that. We finished the switchboard. We got back. I did more settlement stuff. Flew back. The thing, because I have a jetpack, if I come to an area where it's a little bit too tough or is danger, I can technically fly up and then jump building to building for a little bit in Boston too. So I
it's
have done
Ray in
that.
the
A little bit of
water,
roof running.
Jess in the air.
Yeah, I am treating the skies like he's treating the water. It is absolutely true. Since I got that jetpack, especially this week with all the travel I had to do, because the more quests you unlock, and when you're actually focused on getting things done, you got to get there somehow, right? So that's working. I ended up doing the second railroad quest as well, because once you do that, they're like, okay, you've proven yourself. We have to take you in, and that's when you get to actually see the rest of the railroad lair. You meet everybody. You get to deal with Tinker Tom, and all that stuff happens, and they're all impressed by you going through the switchboard. And that's really when you become a full member. It's not till after you do that first quest with Deacon. So that's when you meet Doc Carrington. And I did not remember that Doc Carrington was such a
Asshole.
he's a bit of a jerk face. Yeah. But
Yeah. It's good to have high charisma when you go to talk to him because you can shut him down.
Who's more annoying, him or the what's the Brotherhood guy name? What's
Maxon or
No,
Captain Kells, which one?
Kells.
else?
Ah.
Oh no, Knight Reese.
Oh no, yeah, that's it.
Reese.
Knight Reese. Okay.
I
Yes.
think right now we just determined immediately that Brother has a lot of annoying people.
Yeah. Well, because I was also thinking, is it Shen in '76? Is that's
Yeah.
oh god, I can't remember. But yeah.
Yeah, so Mysterious Serum lasts for an hour.
Okay, an hour of real time, not in game time.
Yeah.
So that's
Yes, that's
pretty
good.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, I got to Doc Carrington. I did fail a little speech check, so I had to deal with him, putting me down a lot. Did the second whole mission. Interesting about the second railroad mission. You get a dead drop, and you have to do liaisons, and it's very. I love all the cloak and dagger stuff with the railroad and Old Man Stockton, the dead drop. You get sent to a location, which oh my goodness, there's a death claw there. I had to fight a death claw in the middle of
In the hospital.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the hospital.
In the hospital. Yeah, I think so. Isn't that where? Because I have that in my notes. I was like, what? Or somewhere. I
Oh,
have, like, a death claw.
Randolph. No, yeah, the first quest that he sends you on to find what's the name? one of the safe houses, not Randolph.
So this is the safe house. Yeah, Augusta is the next one you go to. So that's the third railroad quest. So I'm just on the second one where you're meeting them and you're escorting this Synth H-22, and you have to meet people up there. Well, there's a legendary writer in Deathclaw having it out, and I got in the middle of that. Anyway, you do all that. You're there you find the church where you're going to meet them, and you have to wait till that night when High Rise is going to come in, and you're waiting with H-22, get into safety and all that. And turns out that is within sound range and slight visual range of the start of Automatron.
Yeah.
So I'm there trying to be subtle and wait. And meanwhile, I'm just hearing pew, 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 nonstop. And
and literally because it's laser fire and you've got the pew pew mod.
Yeah, I love the pew pew mod so much, but it's very loud. And yeah, it's hard to ignore when you're hearing all that pew pew. So I had to go in there and man, Ada and her friends Hertz are getting massacred by the swarm bots and the junk bots and the tank bots. And so I died once or twice, but I went up there and I made it through and started Automatron now too. So got Ada, I sent her up to Starlight. She is now my weapons dealer. She's kind of like a discount Cleo.
Except now the game's about to get harder. Because me and Jen were talking about this because all of a sudden the Rust Devils are everywhere.
Yeah. The Rust Devils and Robots. And can I tell you, I regret this so much because this is like Monday or Tuesday night. And yeah, the last 2 times I've played, I run into Robots. And it's neat because, you do unlock mods for being able to build robots and get like the cool little mods for them. But there are a lot of them. And Rust Devils don't show up like 3 at a time. No, they show up 5 or 6 at a time. Or like when you meet a group of robots, there's a bunch of them at a time. So yeah, I've run into random stuff a lot, but I got to start to sum up because I'm going a little long here on my playthrough. But long story short, I started Automatron, and then I just started unlocking the Commonwealth via settlements. After I got that done, I'm like, well, let me actually get the Minutemen stuff going. If I'm going to be able to travel so much, because I'm here trekking all the way across the Commonwealth all the time because I only have settlements in the Northwest. So I'm like, I have to go get County Crossing. I got a County Crossing, and they're like, well, in order to get here, you have to clear the way over at Taffington Boathouse. Fine, whatever. So I managed to get to Taffington Boathouse, fighting robots on the way, by the way, and plenty of other things. I also got the quest in Bunker Hill to do the training yard for Deb. So I'm doing all this. I'm like, okay, it's all in the same area. So this is a whole night I spent doing this. So I unlock both of those settlements. I now have fast travel points once I set up supply lines because I am using Journey mod, where if I own a settlement and I've got a supply line to it, I can fast travel from one settlement to the other. So that is super useful. So that was my goal, to get those unlocked. And I did. But man, having the robots attack your settlements, those are some pretty hard battles for sure. If you compare them to your average enemy attack, your settlements under attack, like no big deal. But when it's robots, it's a bigger deal. And just running into groups in the wild. So I got all that. And then the most recent things I did were I did go to the training yard, went through and did all that. We talked about how I believe Solior was there the other day, but hadn't quite made it to the end. And when you do the whole thing, like in order to finish the quest there, because I got a couple, you have to go there for the Lost Patrol. Oh, I did all the Lost Patrol quests too. As you guys know, it's a Brotherhood related one. But you go there as part of the Lost Patrol, and you go there for Deb from Bunker Hill. But as you go through and you clean everything out, you accomplish your objective about halfway through. But if you manage to hack all the terminals, find the password, go through, when you actually finish things and you get a really sweet set of power armor in the special room, there's then a sentry bot outside. Have you guys done that yet, this playthrough?
No.
So
it's not worth it.
I did. How about you, Andrew? Have you done it this playthrough in survival mode?
Not this one. No, I avoid sentry bots.
They're worse in survival mode for sure. They're painful. It's
last roundtable, if you remember, I played survival. I went through there, and that's why I have not gone through there yet. This survival roundtable, even though I've been right across the street there at County Crossing, right?
Things I took for granted, I no longer take for granted. But I know. I have Deliver because of the switchboard, and I gave Deacon my super upgraded 10mm, my legendary Relentless 10mm with all the mods on it, and so we're doing pretty good. And I have a dog meet with me, so I was smart. I thought ahead. I tossed a couple of nuke mines. And finally, I had mines on me. I put 2 nuke mines for when Sentry Bot was going to spawn. I put him too close to the door. He didn't even trigger them. I exited the place to fight the Sentry Bot, full health, barreling down at me from up above. So many bullets. Like, thank God I have the assigned perk Nerd Rage. Thank goodness I've got my jet. It took more than one try, but I did survive it again. So, yeah. That's rough. And it's so close to County Crossing. Like it's so close. But I've got all my settlements. They're really built up now. 10, 11 settlements, looking good. I did all that. What else did I do? Okay, so right. So I had done that. And that was all this week. So last night, I'm like, oh, I have to get to Far Harbor. We've got to get to Far Harbor. That's what we're supposed to do for the quest this week. And I'm still trying to clean stuff up, get my assigned companion, get ready to go to Far Harbor. Okay, so yeah, well, I still got distracted. So I'm like, I need to at least talk to Preston and get stuff ready for the castle. So I went and cleaned out Post Zamanja and Boomer there with that missile launcher. That missile launcher is so deadly in survival.
Boomer.
We were joking about it. We were joking about it last week, and man, he took like 3 tries too, but we got him. And what's funny is I took that missile launcher, and now that I got a settlement there, I gave it to the settler there, and I installed him in a guard post, whatever you want to call it. So now he's up there looking like a badass with his missile launcher, killing everybody comes near me. So turnabout's fair play.
Okay, Boomer.
So he wants to storm the castle.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Bye-bye.
So I told him we can wait. We'll be doing it soon. But anyway, last night I had to go and get started Far Harbor. But in order to start Far Harbor, you need to get Nick. You need to at least do most of the getting a clue quest, or maybe all of it. And once again, in survival and everything, it takes longer than you think. Get down there to where I can actually get to the station to rescue Nick. Deacon and I go through. We do finally get Nick. We get out. We make it all the way back to Diamond City. We then have to do the thing with Dogmeat and chase him across the Commonwealth. You can't really fast travel or skip any of that. There are Yao Guai. There are dangerous things. But what I did find is once you find Fort Hagen, you don't have to go through it. The Getting a Clue quest ends there at the front door. It turns into reunions at that point. You're doing reunions. And so basically at the front door, I quit the quest. Dogmeat was done. We were no longer chasing him. We could get back to normal. And so the next time I left and went in and out of a building, that's when I got the call from Ellie to head to Far Harbor. And so we'll pick up again when we go through our Far Harbor walkthrough. But I made it barely last night. Like I finished up early morning. But man, so much Fallout 4. I'm loving being back. We talked about it a bit. And survival really changes things. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, but it's one thing when you're trying to play slow, but when you're trying to get something done quickly, don't try to get things done quickly.
Always seems to take longer when you try to rush through it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to mention there, Jess, for your gameplay?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I gave a 3 feedback level playthrough there. I love the fact that Archon, he did like 30 levels and like a third of the story in like whatever it was the other day, 8 minutes. Yeah. And most of us like it takes so much longer to actually explain everything you do.
When there's other people to bounce comments off of, it always takes.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta talk to the peanut gallery. Hey, Will, did you get a chance to play some video games this week, sir?
I did, and usually I come on here and I have sort of a plethora of games that have at least dipped my toes into.
Yeah,
it's been all Fallout 4.
Oh, nice.
That's all. Like I'm just all the way back in. My I've been playing ESO some, and that one's suffering. A while back, like a few weeks ago, I got my character to like level 998, or I should say CP 998. They work a little bit differently, and I was like, oh, so close to 1,000. I wanted to get to 1,000, but then we started in with this Fallout 4 stuff, and I'm stuck at 998. I bet I probably been kicked out of the guild now because you're supposed to do weekly dues and things like that. I haven't checked.
Not pulling your weight anymore.
I know I'm not. So so lots of Fallout 4, and since we had the feedback cycle for the listeners and stuff, it was last week, so I had just this 1 week, but I was like, oh, it's no problem. I'm going to be able to, I'm fully caught up and I'm ready to go to Far Harbor. And as Jess was saying, I feel like it's so similar. Everything just takes so long, and there's things you want to get done and all that stuff. Yeah.
Squirrels everywhere.
Yeah. So, and I was like, when I started, I was back in Railroad at the railroad HQ or whatever, and I was like, oh well, there's a few like the Milas I need to place. I need to go get some of these safe houses situated. Just some of these things I felt like I had to do. And then it was one of the things is they send you down there to Jamaica Plains. Right. And so I had other things waiting because there's this one Creation Club quest that I've talked about it a lot, actually. This one, it gives you like this bloody combat rifle, CR-74L or something. But it's my favorite one. It has this really fun story where you're doing this tour of the Commonwealth. And every time you go to this certain place, you're supposed to load the holotape, and they have that locations like it switches it dynamic or whatever. That location, you get to hear a little bit of their story, or read, actually it's just read as Creation Club, but you read the whole story, and it kind of culminates down there in Quincy. And so I was like, I had a bunch of different things all leading me down there towards Jamaica Plains and Quincy, and I was like, okay, I want to do that, and then I want to get the bobblehead out of Poseidon. Which one is that? The Endurance. Okay, and also agility in the FMS Northern Star? I forgot which one it is.
Yeah, agility.
Yeah, agility up there.
So I was like, there's all this stuff.
There's 3 bobbleheads right there because the Atom Cats have one too, right?
Oh, okay. I had been to the Atom Cats earlier. I was too scared to go farther south at that point.
Yeah, they're all within like a couple hundred yards of each other.
Yeah, it's not too far. So I decided to just start making my way down there, and I got Billy. I didn't do Mad Rock first, but I got Billy and some of that stuff. And gosh, and I was thinking I have all week to do this stuff, like just to like this. All I have to do, and it just seems to slow me down. I got there to Jamaica Plains, and there's so many ghouls at Jamaica Plains, and I got Billy and all these things you want to do. And then, as you were saying, Jess, you can't leave a settlement until you like fix it up a little bit.
They need food, and they need water. They need enough beds. You also need to plan for the future. Okay, a responsible general of the Minutemen knows that you need at least twice as many beds you currently have settlers, because more might show up, and a little extra food. And while you're there, maybe they need a nicer house. Maybe they need a central meeting area. These things happen.
Yeah, and it's a little bit hard, though, in survival because we have limited carry capacity. I have been cheating it a little bit. I'm like, Curie, could you pick that up for me, please?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and then she's, and I hate that she says it. Before, when she's a robot, I don't mind so much because she's just a robot. But now, like, I've already romanced her. Like, we're full of romance, and she's like, one of my duties is to serve.
Oh,
like, no,
my goodness.
it's not.
Wow. This is that kind of relationship.
Right?
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like,
she is a synth, right? So she, it's okay.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something neat, which some of you may realize? But since I have the Companion Affinity mod now, that will it'll show you that your affinity goes up every time affinity adjusts, and you get even a percentage. So you can get affinity bonuses from characters, even when it doesn't. You know how it says liked that, disliked that, whatever. Greatly like that, and you get affinity bonuses. You get affinity bonuses when not just when those happen. You can get them from various things in the game where you never see a pop-up. And so running that mod, I've noticed that your character, your companions may complain about you picking up junk sometime, and they make this disparaging comment, but they like it still. Like a lot of times if I get into something, it's not just picking a lock. Like if I get in there and I loot a bunch of fat loot, Deacon might make a comment, but then his affinity goes up by 3.15. And I'm like, oh, look at that. So, and I've seen that with Nick too, because at this point I have Nick. I did swap out Deacon for Nick after I rescued Nick.
Yeah, and I was curious about that. I was wondering because I felt like I got to the romance stage with Curie like pretty quick, and there's the same thing with Kate too, the max affinity. I didn't romance her, but I was like, I've only seen they like this a few times. How am I already at this stage? And I was wondering if it was because of the increased XP or something in survival that they like get more.
There may be an influence there. There may be an influence there, but it may just be traveling with people. When you play a lot, that it is quicker than we realize. A lot of things in game, as much as it takes longer, things go quicker than you expect. But I made it to max with Deacon over the course of this week. I mean, that's probably 20 hours of gameplay with him, maybe 16 hours of gameplay, but I made it to max with him.
Well, and each of them have like the things they like, so you can exploit that. Like, you can get Dance to love you just by getting in and out of power armor 20 times. Like he'll
Right.
love you immediately, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I haven't been doing that though. Like I could have traveled around, in my underwear or whatever when I had Kate with me, but
Yeah, be naked or take
Yeah.
the
yeah,
drugs.
but I didn't do it. She was just, So yeah, so
I
anyways,
got
I was
Hancock's
there.
affinity that way once.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I was wondering when I was at Jamaica Plain because Curie seems to I mentioned she loves her walking cane. For some reason, she likes this walking cane, and I've given her plenty. Well, she did have this one laser rifle, and she blew through like 500 rounds before I knew what happened. It was a fusion cells. I was like, wow, okay. I've been trying to give her stuff like
you've
these
earned a
shotguns
melee
and shotgun shells, and she
weapon.
won't use them. Yeah, but no, she just likes them. I've been trying to give her other weapons. She likes this walking cane, and I'm even trying to give her better melee weapon. She just is using this walking cane. It's wounding, I guess, does bleeding damage, but that's what she likes. I don't know.
She likes blood.
But I was thinking maybe she'll like that champion armor, that champion bat. What is that? The Louisville Slugger,
Right, yeah.
championship
the World
thing.
Series
World
bat.
Series
Yeah, the
bat.
World Series bat. And so I was trying to do all that stuff in Jamaica Plain. And to get down in that bottom thing, I know you get the mayor's password, which helps you get into, after killing one of these things, that helps you get into his computer. But I still can't get into the basement. It's locked. Do you have to have like the hacker perks or the picklock perks? Like I forgot which one, whether it's a locked door or the terminal there
isn't it on
to
the
get down to
ghoul
that basement?
Isn't it on the ghoul upstairs?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I got the mayor's password, and I thought that's what I needed. So I went back to that terminal.
No,
and
it's the janitor's. It's the janitor's card or something, right? To get into the basement.
Are we talking in Jamaica Plain?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't there a janitor's pass?
I missed something because I have. Okay, yes, I have the card, and I have.
You have the mayor's password and the janitor's card
and
both.
I'm still locked out of that basement. I don't know. Maybe I have so many like saves and beds. I'm mixing them up. Maybe I would. Maybe
it was the janitor's area, so it should be the janitor's card that you really need. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I'll go back and check. Maybe not anytime soon. Just like I said, I've died a few times, so it's possible that I, reloaded a save from before I had the card and then never went back and picked up that card again. I'll look for it because I was like, oh gosh, I guess I'm gonna have to come back either with Nick or Kate, or I'm gonna have to level up the thing to get her that bat. So I wasn't able to do that, but I'm gonna eventually go back and check.
That is a thing. Remembering what you did, was it this playthrough or was it when I had to reload a save? Because that does change things in survival
I
too.
had definitely gotten both of those, but it may have been I died and didn't go back through. I will look and see. But so I was there, finally got out of Jamaica Plains and started, my only goal is we came up, and this kind of took my week, and it was Memorial Day weekend, so I had, for me, just a 2-day weekend. I usually work Saturdays, but I was like, okay, my only goal is to get this endurance bobblehead and the agility bobblehead. That is my only goal through Sunday and Monday. And then so Sunday ended up, I had a little bit, not as much time as I thought I had, but I didn't get it. Like, so I got caught up there in Quincy and all that. And then somehow I didn't get anything on Sunday. So Memorial Day came, and it's like, all right, this is all I'm doing today, getting these 2 dumb bobbleheads. But like I said, I was at Quincy and when I had Billy and all them, and oh my gosh, it took me forever to get through Quincy. I'm not sure if I had a creation club content thing too, because I had a lot of just named gunners. Is Tessa supposed to be there at Quincy?
Tessa is always there. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was wondering if maybe she's supposed to be somewhere else, but because I was annoyed too. This is another thing: is I did not get her fist. Didn't she has that Tessa's fist?
Yeah.
Didn't that
thought
the
so,
power
yeah.
fist? I didn't get her fist when I killed her.
Maybe you disarmed her. Maybe you disarmed her
one of the
somehow
things,
and it's
unless
nearby.
Maybe Curie or someone did.
Could be.
I don't know if they could have disarmed her, but I didn't. And I tried to look around and all that. But that one basically took me forever. Monday, just doing all that stuff.
Quincy is
And
dangerous, Will. Quincy is not an easy
Oh my gosh,
location.
well, they have so many. And I
Yep.
I put that one little picture in the Facebook group. They had Clint up there, he's roaming around on the bridge and all this stuff. And I'm like, I have this. Okay, this is because he had killed me a couple times. It's like, this is a perfect opportunity. I'm sneaking. Nobody knows I'm here. I have a fat man and a mini nuke. He's up there. I'm sneaking, and I have a critical shot available to me. So I used the critical shot to the head of Clint with a mini nuke, with the sneak attack for, bonus 2x bonus damage. And it took maybe a quarter of his health down. I was so disappointed. It's like,
Yikes.
that's it. A mini nuke to the head with sneak attack and crit damage.
Clint's a toughie.
Yeah, I was little upset by that, but I got through it anyway still, and I got through it. And I, that Monday I did not get my endurance bobblehead or the agility bobblehead, neither one. I'm not even sure. I don't even know what all I did. I guess it was all just well, Quincy, and then you deal with the what is it else right there? I don't remember.
I mean, you've got Warwick,
there,
you've got Warwick, you've got Spectacle.
Oh yeah, well that's something too, because we're Warwick. I had to go deal with the Warwicks and try to, there's another settlement there. And so
Did you go see the Atom Cats?
I had already seen the Atom Cats.
But yeah, it just takes longer to do everything.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. And so I didn't manage it. And then Tuesday was coming around. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, now I'm getting close. I'm on the show this week. So I only had 1 week to get the quest done. It's like, but I need my bobbleheads because I wanted to get the thing. So that's what I did Tuesday. It's just I did manage to get both of those Tuesday. I think just, the Poseidon energy and
well, now that you got Aqua Boy, you should be able to swim over to Spectacle Island and get the luck bobblehead.
Get the luck.
I had
there's four of them in that quadrant.
I had gotten the luck one earlier, also around the time I did the Atom Cats, I think, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. But so I was going through Poseidon, and one, it's fun in survival, and
fun.
It was brought up in the last week's feedbacks that just how just the playing slow and all that and everything is just actually, it's just it's fun and it's different, just kind of really sinking into it. But it had been a while since I saved while I was in Poseidon, and they have all those mines and traps going on, and I was playing, and I like you, Jess, I'm using that Faded Glory mod for the just the enhanced, I guess, score. And God, I was so nervous. It had the tension that I was feeling at this just such a high, an extreme level as I was going through that. And I was so nervous. It's like, when am I going to get a save? And then going up trying to deal look for traps everywhere. And I was like, because I know I'm going to do something dumb and just blow myself up. So that was fun. I finally did that, and I got my bobbleheads, and I was getting close. I was running, messaging Andrew a little bit. I was like, okay, yeah, we'll be there. I'm trying to get the quest done. We'll see. All I have to do now is I'm trying to, get back up to wherever I go, so I can get to Far Harbor. And I was going. And one time I got up there to Castle, and like you said, I got distracted. It was the same thing. It was like, because I didn't plan enough ahead, as you were talking about, Jess, with the settlements. There were all these settlers there. I think I forgot, and I left the beacon on.
No.
So I had 19 settlers there.
No.
And none of them.
It's the worst. It's like coming home to a bunch of hungry mouths, and you've had a long work day, and all you want to do is rest and sleep. But no, they're all there yelling and scrabbling, and they need beds. Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah. And so
teenager has thrown a party without your permission. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah, and so I had to go through all that, and we're in survival, and I needed to sleep because it had been a long time since I saved. But I don't want to go through and spend all that time, and then sleep and save, spend all that time doing all that stuff I have to do, then go somewhere and die, and then realize I come back, oh great, now I got to do all that over again. Now I know what you're supposed to do is sleep and save, do all that stuff, then sleep and save again.
Right.
But we're playing in survival, and even in a bed you own, there's still a chance you're going to get an illness and all that.
Well, there
I'm not
is.
risking it. I'm back here. I got 19 settlers around here. I'm not going to do anything stupid and die.
Even with
You know?
quick save mods, like a couple of us are using quick save mods, and it's a big help. I mean, it's so much better than just the bed. Although I try to be sparing in Spring Survival, but even then, you only have 3 quick saves, so you don't want to overuse it, so you don't get trapped somewhere, and you still have to remember to do it. Which, I mean, you could go an hour without saving sometimes, without just because you don't think.
My first time ever playing survival mode, trying it out when not really knowing what to do, is I was over there in Lexington with the ghouls, and I slept in a dirty sleeping bed on the catwalk, and I didn't know the rules, and it was like, oh, you didn't get enough sleep. You only slept 3 hours. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll sleep again. So, so I slept again, and then it said, it was the same thing. Oh, you still didn't get a full night's sleep. And I'm like, huh, okay, all right. Well, let's sleep again. Maybe I got to sleep 3 times. I don't know.
9 hours.
It's
logical.
right there,
You now have every disease.
They were tons of them. I was limp. I had to remove. I had to remove all my armor, and I was like limping along in my underwear to try to get back to somewhere I could, heal myself. And finally, I just gave up. And that time, I was like, survival is not for me.
Discovering how it works has been so strange. Those first couple days, I was so confused by it too. Like, I didn't realize fatigue was a disease. It took me a while to understand fatigue is a disease.
It's not, you don't sleep, right? Yeah,
right.
You have to
and the other one, there's another tiredness one too. So you need antibiotics for these things. You don't just sleep to get rid of it, so it just compounds. It's the worst.
Yeah. So, but that was years ago. Now I love survival, and I'm all into it. But I was thinking, so that was my thinking. I was like, there's no way I'm going to just kill myself here at Castle. But then I'm about to leave, and old Ronnie Shaw shows up.
Oh,
to
Ronnie.
talk to me.
Good old Ronnie.
And she's like, hey, well, there's a lot, they have this stuff down here beneath the castle. You should really go explore it and all that. And it's like, okay, let's go through here. And I knew I was taking this risk. And like, I'm just going to be extra careful. I can make it. I've done this, before.
What's down there?
And
Some like mirelurk nests or something, right?
There's some mirelurks and stuff, but I think I was ready for those. And then it's going extra slow. I was being careful, because there's a lot of mines down there. And I was being extra careful, and Jess, you were talking to someone about that you had to explain to them, like, oh, the online, they were just they were streaming or something. You're trying to explain the whole mechanism of disarming a mine and all that stuff. That is still just insanely stressful. Knowing how to do it in survival mode, that is such a stressful thing.
Because it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and so that's what happened to me. I go up to the mine, I'm looking down, I go to do the thing, but I go to hit X on the Xbox, and my gun that I was carrying wasn't loaded, and I guess I had it out instead of not put away, and I'm going through the reload animation on my gun instead of disarming the mine. And just like, it was such a slow process. I'm watching this. It's like, oh my God, I'm about to die.
No.
Please stop reloading that gun. Let me disarm that mine. and I just blew up. So I was all the way back down there.
That's when you get so angry, because you did it to yourself. You have nobody you can blame but yourself and your own choices.
Yeah. And so this time I gave in, because I had Aqua Boys, the sign perk, but I hadn't been doing. This time I was like, you know what? We got to swim. I'm swimming back to the castle. And this time I swim to the castle, and I fixed it all up, and I hid from Ronnie Shaw as much as I could. I was like,
Fuck you,
don't
Ronnie.
come near me.
Yeah. Well, once you get through all the mines, you still have to deal with Sarge.
Oh, right.
good
Yeah.
Lord.
Gosh,
I forgot about
good. That was
Sarge.
just a bad plan from the beginning.
Bad idea, but it's so tempting. But long story short, you had to get to Far Harbor for the show, and the game did everything it could to stop you from doing that.
To stop me, yeah. And then, like you said, distractions, because then I go up and I get to Nordhagen Beach there, and I hadn't claimed that yet, that settlement, and I started to try to fix that up. And first thing, I was sort of like, I forgot the people at Nordhagen Beach had, like, that was like a family, like the Abernathys, or like at Oberlin Station, they have the Oberlin sisters. And I try to not mess with those people too much. Like, I like to build some of them up that are obvious, like Starlight Drive-In and things like that. And if you're, like I have that, you've seen my Nordhagen Beach condo complex from years ago.
Yeah, I love that from way back.
Yeah. So, and I think because that is such like a big place, and I don't know if the Nordhagens died or what, but I didn't realize they were named people there But I got there and it looked so just empty, and it was so like tiny and all this. But it's such an inviting location. I was torn.
Great
this
real
time. I was
estate.
yeah, I was really torn this time. Okay, do I build this up more, or do I leave it a little bit more alone? Because I've been trying to, as I said, with like the Oberlin Station, that's your assigned settlement. But I went there, when I claimed that, I was like, man, this is such a nice little setup. They got this thing going on here. I kind of don't want to disturb what they're doing. So all I really did is I gave them a Dalmatian doggy, fixed up a couple of things, but I was like, got them a supply line from someone I deemed trustworthy, because I don't trust everyone. I wanted it to be someone that would fit in with them. I know it's silly to do these things, but like I sent the ghoul to the slog to be their supply line guy, just because they take the pride in just being all ghouls.
Yeah.
And
I
because
sent
of this,
a child. Well, I sent a child as my supply line from Sanctuary to Zamanja. Like, just a little girl. I couldn't believe the game let me send her as a supply line. It did, though. I'm so worried about her. I did it right before I went to Far Harbor, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. So I was going with that debate with the Nordhagens, and I realized too, because I hadn't talked to them forever, they're all extra nice too. Like they have these lines talking to each other about the slog actually, and they're like, oh, you heard about the slog, and the other person's like, oh man, that's awesome, that's great for them, especially after what Mayor McDonough did to them. And I was like, oh man, now I like these Nordhagens even more. Like I already love this location, now I like the Nordhagens even more. And
you're gonna be fighting Don and Andrew for that location pretty soon. Well, be careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
And I've got it with Sim Settlement, so it's completely built up. I sent the dad as the provisioner and the mom as the mayor. So. Oh
yeah. Oh, see, I don't like. I made sure I brought other people in, because like those people don't have to do the supply lines. They have, like I said, like when I did Abernathy Farm, it was like none of the Abernathys are doing the supply lines. You get some settlers, and then I look at the one that's like, no one wearing t-shirt and jeans. They're like, all right, you're not dressed for supply line. Then I can dress them up differently, but they got to look like they're ready for the road a little bit, and then go.
There's only one named settler who does supply lines for me almost every time. I'm curious about you guys, if you have the same one. Do you have one that does? I'm just wondering if it's going to be the same. Name settler?
Oh.
Jake from Finch Farm. You rescued him from the forge, and him and his dad are fighting, and I put him on the road.
Okay,
every
there
time.
we go. That makes sense. Yeah. And plus, one of the weird things that I do, another thing, sorry, keep talking about these settlement stuff so long, is my supply lines are a little bit broken too. Like I keep talking about, trying to get the supply lines established, but also I like to set them up so that it's the most efficient lines of travel possible. So like I have a few settlements that are connected one to one another, because that makes sense. But then I have like some that, like, is it Finch Farm that sends you to August or Saugus Ironworks?
Yeah. Yes.
So like I'm just, okay, I'm not ready for Saugus Ironworks, or I wasn't then, in survival. So even though the Finch Farm is right there, not too far from like County Crossing and stuff, right? It's not too far from there.
Yeah.
I didn't do that supply line because I don't have Finch Farm's quest done. And
no, I'm the same. Yeah, so I got County Crossing, but don't need Finch.
I won't take County Crossing down to the next one, because then I would be passing up Finch Farm, and it just doesn't make sense. So I have like my supply lines a little bit broken until I go do some of these other things. You
can reassign them. You can pick that settler and change where they're going.
Find them though, right, on the road?
They show up pretty regularly though. Like if you're at settlement for any length of time because you're building, they'll show up, and just ring the bell and wait, and they often make it.
Yeah. But yeah, so eventually I made it. I got back, I got to Diamond City and all that, and then it's like, that was it. It was my last thing. It's like, all right, off to Far Harbor I go, finally. And this is like yesterday. This is like last night. It's like, as long as I don't get any distractions. And my assigned settlement is Coastal Cottage, and I passed that
another
along the way.
distraction.
Oh, it was a distraction because this is the only one I did a different mod for, because it was assigned. I have this sort of vision in my head. Like, all right, I'm playing it. This is I think Dungeons and Dragons has done something to my brain where I like role play everything out like way too much now.
Oh no. I mean, I would blame the round table to begin with, but maybe even more now at Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, and so I have this thing planned out in my head that Curie was my romance, and it's like, okay, so we got the romance, and then I was like, this little, we're off to Far Harbor to where we're really supposed to learn about each other and all that stuff, and then kind of when we come back to the Commonwealth from that, it's like I'm going to pretend that even though we're romance, it's like they're really getting to know each other. Then it's like they're going to be married. I'm going to give them the wedding ring that I got from Nora give Curie the wedding ring I got from Nora, and it's like the little house is going to be the coastal cottage where they sort of retire to, like their house as a couple, and then they're going to but before they do that, they're going to take their honeymoon, like have a nice little lovely honeymoon over there at Nuka World, assuming it's going to be a lovely place. And so
Chances are.
because that's supposed to be, they don't know what Nuka World is like yet. But because that's sort of like their like retirement home, their couple of the home where the whole game is supposed to end for them, I downloaded this one. It totally redoes Coastal Cottage, and it makes this really, really like super modern house over the cliffs. And it's got all these floors and pools and sliding glass doors and this like super nice little thing. And I was like, okay, well, I hadn't been there yet. And I was like, I have to go at least kind of look at it. And I wanted to see what it was like and play around with it. And I really like it. It's fun. But as I was right there, I saw like, they had from the Creation Club, brown Labrador right there, right by the house to go get. And I was like, okay, well, I got to go get the brown Labrador. And I went to go get the
Like a
brown
dog?
Labrador. Yeah, it's from Creation Club. They have that whole like the dog kits and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to think about every time I get one of these dogs, I have to really think about where this dog fits into. Like that's like I got the Dalmatian. It's like, okay, the Dalmatian is definitely the Oberlin sisters. That's great for them, But, so I go down there to get the brown lab, but then I forgot there's that Mirelurk queen right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that turned into almost the entire evening, that Mirelurk queen, me trying to like deal with that Mirelurk queen. And then of course I did kite it down there somewhere. I mean, it didn't help with the Mirelurk queen, but because I was like kind of running from it so much and it followed me, I got into another, like there was the Rust Devils were fighting some super mutants, and there were these legendary vampiric blood bugs, and I'm just such a mess of all these enemies everywhere. And I don't know how many times I reloaded, like died there. Fortunately, I had a bed at the Coastal Cottage.
Coastal Cottage is necessary though. It's the closest location to Far Harbor and the Nakanos. So even if you're running like the mod we're using, like Journey, where you can fast travel between settlements that have a supply line, you need to get Coastal Cottage to make that worthwhile, because there's nothing else in that northeast area. I mean, I guess you have Kingsport Lighthouse, but there's so little that direction.
Off in the distance, and I was like, "Oh, look at it! It's right there." I held strong though. Like I was,
Good job.
I was running out of time. I was like, "That's it! I killed all that stuff." It's like, nope, okay, and I beelined it.
Mothman couldn't have resisted.
To the Nakano to the Nakano house, and I got there. Did Kasumi's tapes, listen to those, and started the Far Harbor stuff. We can, as you said, we can get to that there. But I only got the first half last night. Actually, I had to finish the other half just tonight, for a little bit, like an hour before we went to the show. Fortunately, there wasn't much going on. Just looking at I forgot these other things I wrote down in here just very quickly. Is somewhere along the way, I have Animal Friend, that perk. And I've mentioned in my feedback, these animals are just not being pacified by me. I don't know if I still need higher charisma or what, but I'm not pacifying hardly anything, because this time, and it keeps making me kill animals I don't want to kill, because I know I shouldn't pacify a friendly animal anymore, but this time I ran across a pack Brahmin, and they had whatever caravaner was with it was dead on the ground. Someone had killed the caravaner. So it was just a pack Brahmin all there by itself. Huh. And I was like, oh, so I was gonna it's like, maybe I can pacify it and I can send it somewhere safer. Like, I don't know. I was trying to do something. And it's like, so this was sort of my last shot at it. And I tried to pacify that, and it fails. And then, dog meat and Curie just started attacking the
poor Brahmin.
I was like, well, that backfired.
We got 2 ribeyes out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the only other like a little random thing that I wanted to just bring up was I forgot where I was, but there was a death claw running around, and I placed some landmines, and I placed them like sort of I thought far away, and I was going back and I was hiding around the corner. I wanted to see, and I was waiting for the death claw to come, trigger these landmines, and so I was sneaking around the corner, and the death claw did it tripped up on the landmine, except it immediately knew where I was. Like that's not a stealth thing. It gave my location away, even though I was around the thing, and I was just I was upset by that. So
Well, we are going to find out what Andrew has been up to. I think this is our longest gameplay in a while. I
I am
appreciate
sorry.
that. No, it's my fault too, for sure. I love it. We're playing so much. Like the gameplay is the roundtable, right? And so
Yes.
this is where we talk about what we're going through, and it's just awesome hearing everybody's perspective on different ways of approaching things.
Well, we already discussed a lot of mine, so mine will be fairly quick. We mentioned Mad Rock at the top of the show and Vault 28. I would recommend, if you haven't done either, do Mad Rock first so you can get that ghoulish level 3, like I mentioned, then over to Vault 28 for those tough, highly coiffed ghouls. And then I was, talking about my ammunition problems in previous episodes. Decided to go ahead and check out the Nick quest, go down and visit the Triggerman. I went in with around 200 rounds of 10 millimeter and switched over to a laser pistol instead of using my 10 millimeter pistol, and walked out of there with over 700 rounds. So I got around 500 rounds of 10 millimeter just in down in that vault where Nick is. And I heard someone, sorry, I forget to give credit, but someone was talking about last week how they just put a mine at the feet of Skinny and Darla. Is that their name? Skinny Malone and Darla? Is that the two?
Yeah.
Before the conversation. So I did that and then went and hid behind the bookshelf, plasma mine, and I've got Demolition Expert. So when they went aggro, it just boom, it blew up every fucking one in the room. It was great. So I just had to, wait for Nick to stand back up, and I stim packed cat meat, and so we proceeded on after that. But I thought that was just really fun, a good idea to do that, and it's really, really effective.
Isn't it amazing how they just sort of stand around while and let you place mines?
You drop a mine by their feet, and they just keep on talking. Yeah.
They're not very observant.
Yeah, and I've never thought to do it at that point. I always do it when I go through that room the first time. Before, when you first go through the vault door, that's the area that you're in. I throw down mines at that point, and then go kill the guys in the next room and make my way through. So when when Nick and I get there and go through that dialogue, they're already there.
Yeah.
The mines are already placed, and I put them farther back because the Triggermen go and hide behind the containers, directly behind Skinny.
Yeah.
And Skinny runs behind the pole. So I put him there. And then when everything goes south, stuff just starts blowing up.
You even know where they hide out. You've done that so much. That's great.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's awesome. It's an early quest. I did the Nick thing for the first time, where I'm like, remember Mama June and Honey Boo Boo, or like whatever it is.
Honey Boo Boo.
Mama June. I don't know. Makes me think of Honey Boo Boo, but what you remember June, and then he actually lets you go. So that was great that worked, and we ran for it.
So yeah, the plasma mine was awesome. Got 500 rounds down there. I mentioned last week that Archon said, "Oh hey, there's a chess piece that Deb has over at Bunker Hill. It's got +1 strength, +1 endurance, and it's got the padded mod on it because I keep blowing myself up, and padded helps with preventing explosive damage." And so I was going through this thing where I went over there and like, oh shit, that's like a bunch of thousands of caps. So I went and collected a bunch of stuff, was selling a bunch of stuff. I've got 2 vendors set up at my location there, my settlement, and so I was selling stuff and then visiting Diamond City, selling stuff and getting as many caps as I could, and then I went over and I finally had enough caps to visit Deb and get this chess piece, and then I looked at it, and
Was it worth it?
Then I looked at what I was wearing, and I'm like, I already have this chest piece from a fucking random drop.
Basically the same. Oh no!
I have the exact same one. I just had not put the padded mod on yet. I had the AP, the super lightweight or ultra lightweight, whatever it's called. So I get a plus 10 AP, which is great because I can just load up on shots with my pistol. I get like 12 shots at least with my pistol now in VATS. But I just thought it was so funny that I spent all this time, like a couple of hours selling stuff, getting caps in line, everything, and then I went and looked at it, and it was the exact same fucking thing that I was already wearing. I was
now
like,
you've got it
holy
for
shit.
other armor. There are so many sets in the Wasteland. You forget how many there are. Like putting them all together, like obviously the Destroyer set, the Wastelander set, the Black Ops set. Like you find different pieces, different places. I actually got I got the Apocalypse Greave from the Vault-Tec rep. If you assign Vault-Tec rep to level, we were talking last week about the level 4 traders. If you take Vault-Tec rep and you put him as a general trader, he has an Apocalypse Greave, and that's the only way you can get it.
Wow!
And it's basically a bloodied build. It's basically an unyielding armor piece.
Nice,
which is cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because I mentioned I might actually end up trying the bloodied out at some point because I have that bloodied combat rifle. I have 2 pieces of bloodied armor, or not bloodied armor, bolstering armor, and then I could get that Apocalypse with that too. I may, and I have Nerd Rage was one of my assigned perks.
Only like 5,000 caps. It's not bad.
Well, you guys kind of inadvertently just brought up my next point.
Oh,
Deb has a Black Ops leg, which is a 10% faster movement speed on it. And,
love that.
And I was like, oh, awesome. And then I looked at the one that I'm wearing just to check and see if it's worth. Do I want to swap it out? And I was like, oh shit, the one I'm wearing is an unyielding, so I get plus 3 to all stats if I'm below a certain thing. Like, so fuck, I kind of love that one. My other leg is not legendary at all. It's just a normal whatever combat armor leg. I'm like, why the fuck could it not be the left leg instead of the right leg? So now I'm at the point, do I want 10% faster movement speed or the unyielding plus 3 to all specials?
You can deliberately buy it. Remember, Vault 81 has a 10% faster movement speed leg piece. It's a Destroyer's there at Alexis.
I also have that Sentinel piece that I love.
And there's another Destroyer's piece you can buy somewhere. I don't remember where exactly, but there are a couple of purchasable 10% movement speed. Because I had 20% for a while because I was wearing both. And you were zooming. Yeah. It's really fast.
Are movement speed only on the legs?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, if it could be random on all pieces, I would absolutely go for 50% faster moving speed, because you just like...
Oh, I want
that. But it actually gets a little bit tough. Because that was one of the things I was running into when I was going on that Far Harbor. I was almost moving too fast in some situations, and running past things.
They call me Flash. That's great. And sort of in an ironic way, I'm the Brotherhood of Steel is my assigned faction for the mainland, so I'm planning. So I started doing a little bit of them, dabbling. So I went back and was visiting with Dance, and we went over to ArcJet and did that, and blasted it with a jet. I always think that's really funny when you turn on the jet and blast Dance, and he's like, oh, but he takes a knee and takes a fucking rocket to the face. But then I went back and I did one of Reese's quests. It was just like, go clear out the ghouls in this building. So I ran down there, took them out really quickly, and then I went over to Halen. And I was like, hey, can I help you out with something? She's like, sure, go to this location. I'm like, I don't recognize that location right off the bat. Let me see where that is. And then I look at the location. It's like, it's on goddamn Far Harbor. Oh, shit.
Unbelievable.
I was like, wait a second, I didn't even know she could do that. And it's like, once you pass like level 10 or something, does it
a
then
lot
enter?
A lot of us run mods to prevent that
anytime.
Anytime.
Oh shit.
A lot of us run mods to prevent them from doing that. Keep radiants in the Commonwealth, or I do UG radiants, or any of those.
So the children of Adam are my Far Harbor faction, so I don't have to take sides with Acadia. So I'm thinking I will go ahead and run over and do Halen's Far Harbor quest. Run that back over to the Brotherhood, and then tell the Brotherhood, since they're my faction, I'm going to go ahead and tell them about the synth camp on Acadia. Now, Ray was mentioning that might fuck up the quest line eventually, but then I think, Jess, you said, oh no, not until you try to do Dima's Blue Nightmare stuff.
It's right around the end. Yeah, it changes the last quest or two in the chain, because there aren't really that many. That's why I have them on the schedule. But they might show up there and reconnoiter, but they don't actually go in until you do the Best Left Forgotten quest.
So I think that might be fun. I think that might be fun to experience that. So I might go ahead and tell the Brotherhood about the synth refuge and just see, because I've never done that before, and I think that might be fun to have someone describe it on the show, what happens with all that. So
yeah, I thought you could break the Acadia quests.
You definitely break the end. Like you're not going to be able to do the last quest line, though, the last part of it. You'll wipe them out and should be able to still do either the Harbormen or Children of Adam. But like I said, I'm pretty sure you're going to get most of the way through. So I'm taking a look. Let's see, it's The Way Life Should Be or Cleansing the Land. Cleansing the Land is using the kill switch code. We'll get there soon. Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll find out, right? Andrew can be our guinea pig.
Yeah, I'll just fucking do it and see what happens.
Now that you're all in on the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Well, and normally I would say, but you're giving up a lot of XP, but you're freaking level 52.
Yeah, I'm already level 52 just because I've been save scumming. Every time I turn in a quest, I don't turn it in unless Idiot Savant procs. But funny you mentioned that. Vault 28, I found a blind woman with a kitty cat in there, and she told me to go fetch her dad's circuit board, a circuit board she worked on with her dad or something like that. It was in a toolbox. Yep. I reloaded that motherfucker 35 times, and it still wouldn't proc. So I'm like, is there something wrong with this mod, like in combination with...
I actually think so, Andrew. You're not going to believe this, or maybe you will. After our conversation and you're there, just talking about how much you do that, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll take a tip from Andrew. I'm going to try this. I actually tried reloading that one about 20, 30 times myself. I'm like, I'm going to see if I can make it happen. And that was where I did it. That was where I gave into temptation. And I think I picked the one where it's not going to work because it never happened.
It didn't happen there. But the funny thing is, when I went to turn in the final part of Vault 28, I didn't even try to save scum, and it procced the first time. So I'm like, something about the interior cell of that mod wouldn't let it happen, but as soon as I exited, it happened first time. Also, before we get too far from Vault 28, in that same room with the blind woman is every video game. All the game cartridges are on a desk there in that room, in the game room, and so I hadn't found all the games yet, so that's really fun. I love the Grognak and the Ruby Ruins game. That is one game that I used to just play on my phone in the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy app. So that's a really, really fun game. So go down and get all those. Last thing in my gameplay, like I mentioned, I went and got Nick. So I just continued on and went and found good old our good buddy Kellogg. And I posted a quick video of how my battle with Kellogg went. It was 6 shots with my pistol, and he exploded, and it was pretty fun.
That was amazing. I did have a question about that, because your gun is already like super OP, but you said in one of the things you were using, it's because of, what's the sneak perk? What's not Mr. Sandman. What is it?
Not yet, but I've got and when that video was recorded, I had Sneak and Demolition Expert, and because I have an explosive pistol, the Demolition Expert is really what was adding all the damage. Plus, I had 3.5 extra damage times because of sneak, but immediately after that, I went and added the one you were just talking about with the suppressor.
Yeah, the Mr. Sandman.
Mr.
Well,
Sandman.
that's what I was going to say, because I was looking at this too, because I was assigned Mr. Sandman, and I didn't realize that they kind of work together with the suppressed weapons.
Yeah.
But yeah, those stack, the Mr. Sandman,
Mr.
and
Sandman
the
and
Sneak.
Sneak.
And do you have Ninja too?
Oh,
And
Ninja. That's what
Ninja,
it is.
yeah.
Ninja. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Sandman and Ninja. That's what I was thinking.
I've got all
Yeah.
of those, and Demolition Expert adds just radius and damage both to my explosive pistol. So it's just mowing.
We're blowing up all over the place.
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that you did it before you even started talking to him.
I felt slightly bad when I rewatched the video because he's literally got his hands in the air, like let's just talk. But
it was Kellogg.
I don't want any confrontation here. Bam, 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 bam. He's exploded on the floor. Like, oops.
It was the quickest, slickest Kellogg kill I've seen, short of using a fat man. And I mean, in survival, I know we do more damage, but yeah, he's dangerous.
And so many people were like, "Oh, why don't you use the fat man?" And I'm like, any longtime listener of this show would know that anytime I use a fat man inside, Curie walks in front of me, dog meat gets in the way. It's like I kill myself. Especially with Demolition Expert, like the radius of the explosion is the room, So if I'm standing in the room and use a fat man, I'm going to kill myself regardless,
Yeah, well, not to mention it in survival, if you carry the fat man, you can't carry anything
else,
nukes,
right?
Because you don't have the carry weight.
So heavy.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, I was very proud of Curie, because just what you said, I couldn't carry him, so I was like, all right, Curie, hold this fat man and this mini nuke here. It's like, I'm sure this won't end poorly for me. But she actually used it fairly appropriately. She shot at some some ghouls out. This is when I was in Jamaica playing. She shot at some ghouls that were over across the way, and I was like, all right, good. And then there was this other scene. I didn't grab it, but like she had the fat man with no mini nuke in it, and she did this like spin, almost like this full 360 spin, just using the fat man as a melee weapon, and just all four ghouls that were around it just dropped to the ground.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah. Mega bash.
That's fucking cool. And Will, you mentioned it earlier, telling Curie to pick something up. If anyone hasn't figured that out yet, a good way to avoid the carry weight limit of your companion is, even if they can't carry anymore, you can still open up their dialogue and say, hey, pick that up. And for some reason, it doesn't count against their carry weight. So they have infinite carry weight if you boss them around. Instead of handing it to them and just tell them to pick stuff up, they can pick up stuff endlessly. So
it can be so hard to find the right spot, though. Like, you're kind of pixel searching to not pick it up yourself. I've had trouble with it. I mean, it works, but it's a pain.
And that is my gameplay. We've got some quests for Far Harbor to get into. And I've got a Fallout Terminal Velocity that takes place here at the end of our first quest. So we'll get into that here in just a minute. But real quick, before we get into any of that, I think that we need to do a quick edition of... What time is it? Game time! Boom! All right. So if there is anybody in the live chat here who is in the continental United States who would like an extra large adult t-shirt, Fallout themed, please go ahead and type the word game into the chat here in the live Discord. But what we're going to do here for game time is, Will, I'll let you play for yourself. If you win, you can get the prize. And Ray and Jess will enter some people's names here if people chime in on the Discord.
That sounds good. A lot of about half the Discord had to go to bed at this point. We had a lot of people in earlier, but about half of them are sleeping.
All of the people from the Pacific
Australia
area
and New Zealand are still here.
They're frowning. But what we're going to do today, I planned this game for last week, and if anyone is aware of the sporting world, the Indianapolis 500 was last week. The whatever they say, the spectacle and racing, some blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you can tell I'm a real big racing fan. So what I prepared is a game that we're calling Nuclear Race Time. Nuclear Race Time. So all I have here is just a list of 10 items. I'm going to rotate between the three of you, and you guys are going to tell me, is this item a part of a race car or a nuclear power plant? Okay? So.
Wow, that is, yeah. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Also, I think we should save the prizes for another week when we got more people still in the chat.
That is absolutely
because right now we've got
fine.
nobody entering. Yeah.
That's cool. All right, so we'll start with Ray, go to Jess, then to Will. So Ray, first part up here. Just tell me if this is part of a car or a nuclear plant. The titanium retainers. Titanium retainers. Car or nuclear plant?
I'm going to go nuclear plant.
Sorry, Ray. That is part of a race car. Jess, you're up next. The vortex generator. A vortex generator.
A vortex generator? That sounds like a part of a spa or hot tub. I'm going to go with nuclear power plant.
Also a race car. Sorry, Jess. Will,
Dang
you're
it.
up next.
Is this Super Mutant Hounds and Boobazail all over? Go ahead.
Pretty much. A liquid sodium moderator. Liquid sodium moderator.
I have to go with nuclear power plant.
Nuclear power plant is
Definitely.
correct. Good job, Will. Ray, back to you. The Nikasil cylinder liner. Nikasil cylinder liner.
Race car.
It is a race car. Good job, Ray.
Oh, damn.
Back to you, Jess. The intermediate heat exchanger. Intermediate heat exchanger.
Eeny, meeny, miny race car.
I'm sorry, Jess. That is a nuclear power plant part.
Darn it.
I feel
Over
like
to,
one of these somehow is going to be both. Go ahead.
over to you, Will. The zirconium cladding tube. Zirconium cladding tube.
Zirconium race car.
That is a nuclear power plant part. I'm sorry, Will. Okay, Ray, back to you, sir. The control rod drive assembly. Control rod drive assembly.
I'm going to go with nuclear power plant.
That is a nuclear power plant. That one's supposed to be a misdirect with the drive thing, but good job.
I know. That's why I went with what I did.
Jess, the
That was
fuel assembly lower grid plate. Fuel assembly lower grid plate, Jess.
I'm going to use Ray's logic about fuel and race cars and say that's a power plant.
That is a nuclear power plant part. Good
Yes.
job.
Good job.
Will, the rifle drilled lightweight roll camshaft. The rifle drilled lightweight roller camshaft.
That's race car, right?
That is absolutely a race car. Good job. Ray, back to you. The Carrillo connecting rods. Carrillo connecting rods.
I'm going to go race car.
That is a race car, Ray. Good job. So is that all of them? That is all of them. Let's see. Ray, you had 1, 2, 3. Good job, Jess. You had 1. And Will, you had 1, 2. Ray, you win nuclear race time. Good job. All right. Let's get into our quests. What do you say?
You have right here too a quick level perks assigned special check-in. Just we don't need to give you all of it, but what level are you guys at?
Like Ray mentioned, I'm like maybe 52, 53, somewhere in that ballpark now.
Yep. And Ray, you're around 30 or 31, I think.
I just got to 30.
Okay. I am now 38. I got like probably maybe
look at
37. I
you.
got like
You had
11,
a
12
huge
levels.
jump last week.
that was
I played so much this week. I
Yeah,
wasn't
no
exaggerating.
Big
How about
time.
you, Will?
I'm at 44. Yeah.
Wow, we're all up there.
In chat, we have three of our play along people in the 50s at this point, but most people are closer to high 20s to mid 30s.
Isn't it amazing how much more quickly you level up with all that extra XP we're getting? But at the same time, it's harder and we're reloading more, having to reattempt the same things more frequently. So that's a little bit
Is
of a
it faster
drawback.
or not? Right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot faster though.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not doing any of the Minutemen quests. I'm not doing any of the any of the main quests at all. and I haven't done anything with the Brotherhood of Steel. So I'm getting all my levels from just killing things and Radiant Quests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just getting in trouble all over the place. It's like, this looks like a really bad idea. Let's go.
Let's
you know?
go.
Let's
Let's
go.
roll into it. Mount up. Very cool.
Because especially, and now too, like y'all's, gosh, that made me sound really southern there. Your DR is probably a lot higher than mine. Mine is still only in the 50s, I think. It's another thing we were talking about, losing progress in the saves and forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
I know at one point I was at Sanctuary because I mentioned my feedback last week that all my armors and weapons and things like that, I drop off only at Sanctuary. Probably a mistake because it's far away from everything. I need to get that like Hangman's Alley or something.
Hangman's Alley is the key. Yep.
So at one point I was up there and I went through and kind of, spent a good amount of time just fixing up all the armors, taking mods off other armors, things like that, trying to get it. And I got my DR up into the mid or upper 80s.
Nice.
Still not as high as like I think you said you're in the 90s, Jess, but it's still not that high. But I noticed a difference, and then somewhere along the way, I don't know how, I'm back in the 50s. Like,
because you didn't save and you reloaded.
Right, I guess
Most likely.
something.
Get those endurance outfits too. I find that helps a lot too.
Yeah, I'm over 100 DR now. It's nice. It's very nice.
I have no idea what the number is.
One also, I think one of the things is too is like sometimes I make decisions like this. I could be wearing sturdy combat armor, but I like the legendary pieces that give that.
And
like
those
you
are
said,
always leather.
have an extra endurance or just an effect. I like the legendary effect. So
the legendaries that drop
some damage for the legendary,
and the legendaries that drop are always fucking leather. They're you're just like, yay, legendary crap. It's leather arm. Ugh.
Some of those Creation Club T-shirt mods are nice. I mean, that Boston T-shirt and jeans having 50 base DR by itself.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah,
best Under
nice.
Armour. Yeah.
Hey, maybe that's where it's from. I found like a Work Hard T-shirt and like some other like a green leprechaun shirt or something. I'm like, what the fuck are these? Those must be Creation Club shirts.
Yeah,
I
don't know if you can wear the armor on top of it, but I remember a few weeks back, Andrew, when you were talking about you were looking for a +2 endurance outfit that you could wear, but you wanted that you could look
with armor.
Wear armor
right,
over. Yeah, I was doing, as I mentioned, I just recently did the Diamond City Christmas Creation Club quest in there. And in there you get a Santa suit, and I don't know if you can wear armor over it, but that Santa suit was +2 endurance. And it's like, if this thing doesn't have Andrew written all over it.
God damn, that sounds great. That's another question I was thinking I hadn't asked. We're talking about these Creation Club things, and granted, I was not checking every week for over the last few years. Have you guys invested real money into purchasing any of these Creation Club items? Because I was always checking back for the free items. Have you guys actually put real money into these Creation Club stuff?
Yes, I believe so, but it's been long enough. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
I feel like after they first came out, and then maybe even last Roundtable, I did purchase some of the building ones. Got the coins to do that. But I don't have many, and everything else I have, like guns and Pip-Boy and stuff like that, those were all the free giveaways, severely discounted. But yeah, I feel like some of the modern accessories ones I did buy. So probably $20 in, maybe 30.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that's what I did. I'd done just a little bit, but so probably like you on PlayStation, where a lot of free stuff, but I pay for a couple.
Okay.
But when
you
for
mentioned
the Xbox.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, you mentioned a couple of dog breeds that I don't have, like a Dalmatian and a brown lab. I've got a yellow lab and a black lab. But...
that was one I think they just had discounted pretty cheap. Was just like the entire
all the dogs
collection.
Okay.
Yeah. So but yeah, and on Xbox is when I came over, I didn't have all the, I hadn't been collecting them for years and all that. So this time I definitely did, especially because, as you mentioned, Jess, I wanted some of these more modern building things to add to it.
Very cocool.
Steve in chat, Pip-Boy Steve bought the Tunnel Snakes.
Nice. Attaboy, Steve.
Oh yeah, that one's because I think there's like Wally Mack and all those guys are in there. I think and Butch DeLore.
Cool. All right, let's go ahead and run through some quests here. Ray, why don't you go ahead and check in with Far From Home and tell us about your adventure there, getting up over to the Nakano's house.
Well,
did you do that whole thing where you said
I didn't do that?
Go talk to Ellie first.
Place.
You did what?
I just went to the Nakano place.
Well, you're the fucking one who told us last week, oh, go down to the detective agency, talk to Ellie, she'll give you a quest, you get the extra XP, it's totally worth it, and then you ignored your own advice.
Well, because I have not been to the detective agency, and she wouldn't give me that until I got Nick.
Yeah, you have to rescue
You
Nick.
didn't make yourself do that, but oh man, so I suffered unnecessarily. I guess I didn't have to, but yeah, I went and did all that.
Jess, you did rescue Nick.
Yeah, so I mean, you did get the extra XP.
Yep.
For completing that quest.
I can talk through this one pretty quick since it's very fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
And I can't talk through Walk in the Park. So let's do this.
Yeah, help us out.
So yeah, the first quest is Far From Home. After you've completed the quest, getting a clue in the main quest line, which is what you get after you have rescued Nick and then, met with him at the agency, talked about stuff and gone to Kellogg's house. Once you're done with that, the next time you fast travel or load somewhere, you'll get a radio signal. And it's a call from Ellie. Tune in. And this is a message for Nick's partner, because at this point, the game assumes you've been working with Nick a bit. So that's how Ellie thinks of you. And please report in. We have a quest. So you go to see them, you meet her there, and you learn about the Nakanos. And it turns out a guy named Kenji came down saying he was a former friend of Nick's, hadn't seen in a while, really needed his help. He was a mix of upset and desperate. He was in a hurry, but also couldn't stay to really explain everything. But essentially saying, Nick knows me. We've worked together in the past, and my daughter has been kidnapped. My daughter's missing, and I believe she's been kidnapped. So you get that from Ellie. You can ask a bunch of questions back and forth. There's some really good dialogue there. Nick, of course, if he's there with you, will chime in, which, I mean, he was for me. I assume he almost always will be, that you will grab Nick. So there's a lot of good back and forth, some great dialogue there. So from there, you have to make your way up to the Nakano household, which for those who didn't get that while we were kind of talking through our actual feedback, is the extreme northeast. Technically, it's actually off the map in the same way a lot of, the glowing sea stuff is. It's up all the way to the upper right off the map past the coastal cottage. Really cool area. It's neat as you go up there too. The beaches are really pretty, the docks and all that. Anyway, neither here nor there. So you read the case notes that you get and you travel to the Nakano residence. When you get there, as you approach, you hear a couple yelling, and it's Kenji and his wife. I'm suddenly forgetting her name. I feel bad about that. I only talked to them briefly, of course, because it's just for this section.
Ray?
But yes. Yeah, like Bray or Bree, kind of?
No, it's like Ray. Like R-E-I.
Ray, perfect. Yeah. So it's funny because that's like the dog's name in New Vegas, but that's R-E-Y, and this was R-E-I. So you talk to them, and that's when you find out that, yes, their daughter has been missing. I think it's been as much as a week. I don't know if they give an exact time frame, but it's been a bit. Father is desperate, yelling that she's been kidnapped or, was taken, talking to people on the radio, and they somehow brainwashed her or convinced her to join them, but it was all a trap. She doesn't know how dangerous the Commonwealth is. He's very overprotective. Ray, of course, her mother says, Kenji, I don't think that's the case. She left of her free will, but I think it was a choice. And if she did it without telling us, she must have had a reason. But they're both very worried.
Yeah, because she said she's like 19 years old. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the mother, she has faith that if her daughter did this, it was for a good reason. What did you say?
I said, that's a goddamn adult. She's 19 years old. Let her fucking go
definitely
off,
an adult.
man.
And that's part of the issue is that, her father sees her as a kid. The mother sees her as an adult and feels the father's going to be pushing her away a little bit. Now, what you do after you talk to both of them and you start to draw some conclusions, you're like, okay, it sounds like they both admit that she left of her own free will, but the one, Kenji thinks she was tricked and is in major danger. And the mother says that might not be the case at all. You don't know necessarily. So you explore the house and you're looking for clues. And the kind of clues you find are a number of little holotapes that she's recorded around about various projects. You learn that she's very tech savvy. She's doing things like fixing a fan, building a radio that she talks about, fixing like the kitchen mixer. There's a number of them, and you kind of learn that she has a predilection for machines, loves working with them, and
Her grandfather taught all this stuff.
some of this from her grandfather. You get some of that in the notes. The one about the kitchen mixer, especially. They're in the kitchen and they're talking when she's working on it. And her father comes in and is making a trip to the city. You assume Diamond City, and he's going to go. And there's some back and forth there. And she's like, Dad, I really want to come with. And her father, it's when you hear that he's really not letting her do anything. You know what I mean? Like he's very much, I'm sorry, it's not safe. And she's like, I'll stick with you. I don't need to do anything. And he's like, no. And he's like, I love you. She's like, I love you too. But you hear that resentment. You hear that he is a very much an overprotective father and kind of keeping her as an adult, as Andrew's saying, she's an adult, not letting her do much. So you start to understand why maybe if she was going to leave, why the mother saw this more than the father did. The father was a little bit oblivious. Right. So you get all that. And you learn about that predilection. You talk to the mother and the father, and especially from the mother, you get information that she was spending a lot of time out in the boathouse, her grandfather's boathouse, because of the fact that she and her grandfather, she really identified well with him. He taught her everything he knew about machines, like you're saying, Will, and he recently passed away. So there's a catalyst right there for some making major life changes when someone you love, and very close to, passes away. We all kind of reevaluate things. And so she's spending more time alone in the shop. So that's when you go out to the boathouse to investigate. Did you guys have anything to add about the stuff in the house?
We're just one of the, I guess it was going to be in the terminal velocity anyways, but she mentioned in one of those holotapes that she had been having nightmares about being in like a white lab
room.
Type room. Yeah, like a white room and people staring at her and things like that. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So she's having all this situation. So as you investigate the boathouse, if you look through, there's a clue, and I'll let you guys find it yourself, but it's a good clue that kind of from a note where you can find out how to get a key to get into a safe. Once you get into a safe, there's a final holotape there, and that's when you learn that she has been communicating with a location up at a place called Far Harbor. And there's a commune there for synths. And talking to them, she actually feels from her dreams and being a little bit feeling separate from her family in some ways, except for people around her. And just certain things that she's like, maybe I'm a synth. She thinks that she is a synth, has kind of convinced herself. And she's going to go and meet them. But it's really, she just needs to get out and explore. And this is a chance she's actually has a location to go to. So she took the family boat, one of them, and went off to Far Harbor. So after you get that, you can go and talk to Kenji and ask, hey, what is this Far Harbor? What do you know? And that's when you learn from him. Far Harbor, he went there as he's way up north. He was there when he was younger with his father, but he doesn't know much about the location. And all his father said was that the air there is not good. Okay, the air is bad and we can't stay there for long. So he doesn't know much about it. And he then offers you the use of his boat, which has autopilot in it. Very convenient. Good job, Bethesda. Way to go. Just like landing your ships in Starfield, just point and you're going to land on the planet. And sorry, you can't pilot them in yourself. So it's going to take you over to Far Harbor. So you go, you grab Nick or whoever you're with, you get in the boat and you click just activate boat and it's going to take you to Far Harbor. Now, in mine, the boat sank.
What?
But yeah, I didn't make it. Game crashed.
Oh, okay.
I was like, wow.
I sank mid-trip. It was loading screen.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I didn't make it to Far Harbor, and it's okay. I was trying to cram it in because while we're talking, just everything's taking longer than planned. So I tried to get it done, and yeah, it was before the show tonight, and I sank. So I'm going to try to do it again. Luckily, I saved at the Kenji household. No problem there. Good. Hopefully it loads, or I can figure out which mod is causing troubles this time, because less of them affect Far Harbor, but something must.
Hey, let's check in. Will mentioned some Fallout Terminal Velocity. Let's see some of these Kasumi holotapes here real quick.
Project log, kitchen mixer. The circuits are still good, but all the mechanical parts are rusted through. Maybe I can
right, everyone. I'll be back in a few days. Was there anything else we needed from the city?
Wait, you're going now? No! Wait, Dad, I could come with you.
It is better if I go alone, Kasumi. Do not worry. I have your list.
You don't know what half that list is, Dad. I can help you. Really, I'll be...
I said no. I'm sorry. You're safe here, okay? Just stay put for me.
Okay.
I know you're disappointed, but I won't be long. I love you.
I love you too, Dad. Project log, lamp. Yep, it's a lamp. Filament plus power equals light. I swear, sometimes I think my parents break these things just to keep me busy. Project log, dreams. Recording what I can remember when I wake up. I keep having the same one. I'm in a white room. People are talking about me like I'm not there, or maybe they just don't care. And then there's this, I don't know, jolt, like a spark of electricity to the back of my head, and then everyone turns to look at me. God, I hope I don't have it again tonight. Project log, radio. Correction, working radio. I'll finally get some news outside this house. My handle is going to be, let's go with Ohm's Law. That should confuse the creeps. And if someone actually gets the reference, then we'll at least have circuitry in common.
Ohm's Law.
I know you can't hear this, but I can't think of a better way to say goodbye. You taught me so much, and I won't forget any of it. I'm sorry that we'll never be able to fix up the old clunker we've got sitting in the boathouse. Wherever you are, I hope you're at peace. Project log? Myself. I never really thought about who or
strong enough to make the trip.
what I am, but God, where do I start? The radio. I was right about the range. I managed to get a signal, a strong signal from up north. There's a group of people up there. They say they're all synthetic people, made by the Institute. They're trying to build a place for their kind, where they can be themselves and be accepted for what they are alongside human beings. It sounds wonderful, but then they started asking about me, and some questions came up. Questions I don't have answers to. I mean, I've always felt off, like I'm not really supposed to be here, but then there are things in my childhood I can't remember, and I've been having strange dreams. I'm going to go. To meet these synths,
Gasp.
I have to know the truth about myself. They've told me to sail up north to a town called Far Harbor. I can make my way to them from there.
And she's gone. How the people on Far Harbor, they just planting suggestions into her head, or do they have any actually knowledge about who on the mainland might be a synth?
Well, Dima thinks everybody's a synth.
Everyone in the whole mainland, or everyone in all of existence?
Yeah, because I mean, he questions you.
Everybody's a synth.
Demon's very philosophical. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you're pretty much all brain. ombre and no brawn.
All transistors popping out of your head.
And, so his logic is that you can't remember your entire past. And so therefore,
can anyone?
You must be a synth.
I don't think anyone
you
remembers
don't remember
everything.
every moment since you were born.
Which is just silly, but sounds like something a synth might think who doesn't have experience of human memory.
Yeah.
Yep.
And understand the way gaps are and the faulty narrator, that sort of thing. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of philosophy there. And we'll get to that soon enough when we actually, the next couple of weeks as we're actually playing through Arcadia. It's been a long time for me to remember all of it. But definitely he thinks it's important to kind of question and ask these kind of questions of yourself and people around you. And, who am I? Find yourself. Go to California, go to Far Harbor. But yeah, I don't think that they're trying to ever convince her she's a synth. But I think that the questions they ask make her, raise some uncomfortable questions.
Yeah, okay.
And she's especially vulnerable right now after losing her grandfather, the person she was closest or most connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And she feels disconnected and like an outsider. And she's wondering, maybe this is why I feel like an outsider. And you hear that from, teens all the time. Like, so, for various things, we all feel outside of things at various stages in our life. And I think the two things together are why she starts to think that.
And another question that popped in my head just listening to her dad, he seems to have a fairly thick Japanese accent. Or are there lots of immigrants to the Commonwealth wasteland from other countries, like during the apocalypse? Like he sounds like he's not from the Massachusetts area. Like are there lots of instances of like people with thick foreign accents? Like the Bobrov brothers, where like they're Russian or something, right?
And you would
or Lithuanian
think it wouldn't survive
or
200 years.
Yeah, I mean they're not 200 years old, so they've come from what? Maybe they're synths.
Things start to homogenize, but at the same time, in the wasteland, things can be much more pocketed too, because there are less people, less traveling between locations and stuff. So,
and especially those Nakanos.
Yeah, assuming that they were part of, grew up with their family and maybe even originally in
they kept
an area that was more Asian than not, and then lived isolated on farms for 2-3 generations. Okay. No, they might keep the accents mostly, and I think that's probably the justification. However, it doesn't make that much sense. Like you look at Kate's Irish accent, and she grew up around Raiders and stuff. Like in a lot of cases, no, they're just bringing in accents because they think it's cool
accents are fun. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Did you want to continue with the next quest or hit some feedback? Sorry, Will, what were you saying?
It was going to be real quick. It was just a side note. I didn't notice before until just now when you were playing the tapes. That's the same voice actress that's the DJ in Fallout 76, right?
Yeah, Casey. Yeah, I think that is Casey. Speaking of which, by the way, you mentioned earlier, what's her name? Ronnie Shaw at the castle. Yeah. Did you know, when you listen to that next time you talk to her, she voices, I think it's Elizabeth Noon, she voices all the Argonians in Morrowind and Oblivion.
Oh, really?
So just picture her the lizard the whole time, the lizard lady, and totally see it.
Lizard people. Hilarious. All right. Do you want to continue on with the walk in the park or visit a little bit of feedback?
Feedback would be great, and then we can wrap up the quest after, maybe?
Sounds good.
As we dance in the air, we make feedback.
Hi, Fallout friends. It's your friend, Jen. I'm here with a bit of feedback about Winter. Winter Tempet is currently hopping through the wasteland. He's made it to Diamond City, found Nick, and has taken down Kellogg already. Lots and lots of hilarious ways to die, I'm learning, with Winter. Dog bites have taken him down. He accidentally picked up one of Trudy's mugs, and that was a bad thing. And he's blown himself up with his own Molotov several times.
Yes.
So he's been to Diamond City and found Nick Valentine and has taken down Kellogg already.
Wow.
I'm super, super grateful for the bed in the Kellogg fight, that bed just before you get into the big fight. I've been using, so he's been rolling with Piper, and during that Kellogg fight especially, or before the Kellogg fight, there was so much good stuff in the building, I couldn't say no to it, and I've been using the pick that up. Hey, Piper, pick that up exploit just a little too generously. And I accidentally gave Piper a fat man and a mini nuke. So when we went to walk into the Kellogg fight, boom, out comes this fat man. And I realized my mistake, but I figured I'd roll with it. So lots and lots of hilarity ensued with much dismemberment and a whole lot of dying in ridiculous ways. But I finally found a decent strategy where I placed some mimes and behind him. So when he went, when he ran behind to start shooting me, I figured that would get him. In the past, I've been able to cripple his legs and then give Nick Valentine an incendiary rifle, sets Kellogg on fire, so I can always see him and just keep working that way. Well, it wasn't working so great this time. A few strategically placed mines helped to cripple his legs. I ran out of the room. Piper nuked him, and that seemed to take his health down just a little bit, and he was kind of staggering out the door when he finally found me, and I managed to get him in the head. So that was all done and super exciting. I wasn't going to do all of the main storyline this time, but I have to, because there's no way I can romance dance until the Pridwin shows up. So currently working on that. That is my next goal, is to get my romance and relationship with dance started, and then Finch Farm. I've been assigned Finch Farm, and that means I'm going to have to fight the Forged at Saugus Ironworks. Oh boy, in survival. So I'll report on that next time.
Just give
I'm
Piper
sure
a fat
I
man.
will have lots of funny ways that I've died, or horrible ways anyway, to entertain you with. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I think, so my assigned faction is the Railroad, and I think what I'm going to do, and what sits right with my head lore-wise for Winter, is to have Winter romance dance first. And then, the ultimate discovery happens, and then they both decide to join the Railroad for synth liberation. So but Dance will have suffered some trauma, which makes him extremely loyal to the people at the Brotherhood. So I can't fault him for that. But anyway, that's the plan. In 2 weeks, I should be ready to go to Far Harbor. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for doing all of this. And I'm totally in love with Fallout 4 again. Not like I didn't fall in love or fell out of love with it or something like that. It's just that, I'm playing a lot, and I'm trying to find time in my schedule to squeeze in like an hour here and an hour there when I can. It hasn't been like that for quite a while. So thank you for this. It's been a ton of fun. So everyone, have fun, stay safe, and I will see you in the wasteland.
Awesome.
Try not to die.
Thanks, Jen. Try not to die. Perfect. Romance dance, then Railroad. I think that makes the logical sense, right?
Will he start to lose? Like, if she's at max affinity with him, can that go the other way, right? Like, she can lose that?
I don't think so.
Not once you get max.
Once they max out, they don't go back down.
Once you get the perk, you keep the perk.
Okay,
they can go down. They can go up and down still.
Someone,
I did not know that.
I'm wondering if it was Steve. I think he's in the chat. Like, didn't he do something one time where he tried to take a companion?
It was Steve. Make Kate hate him. Yes.
Like, after being at full like that's what he did. He got max affinity.
That was
and then
such a
and
project.
then it dropped so much that she left him. Is
Yep.
that what happened?
Yeah, that was a big project, and it was back, I think, before 76 came out. Like the roundtable before 76 came out, Steve was doing that playthrough, making Kate hate him, and it was the funniest thing. Everything he had to do to get her to finally give up and leave.
That's perfect. Jen has a little love letter to Fallout 4 in there, and I'd just like to say, yeah, I'm having the fucking best time playing Fallout 4 again, too.
We love this game.
Oh,
you forget
absolutely.
what it's like. I mean, you don't, but you do. It's home.
I've been like I had said for years that Fallout 4 was my favorite game. Everyone has whether it was Fallout 3, Fallout whatever. And then recently I sort of switched tunes. I was like, I think something finally beat Fallout 4 as my favorite game, and it was The Last of Us Part 2. I've been saying Last of Us Part 2 is my new favorite. Finally, there's something. That's my favorite game. But I don't know. Now that I'm back in Fallout 4, that may have been a premature statement there.
It's just you hadn't played it recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful stuff. Oh, and Jen, when you do the Forged, you can also accidentally give Piper a fat man and have her tee off on the dude in the power armor upstairs too. You can.
The trick is that's such a cramped space.
It's tiny.
Yeah, get yourself off to the side. She was saying she put down mines around Kellogg. You can put mines on Kellogg like you can with Skinny Malone and those guys. I never even thought about doing that.
That's why I was saying it's nice how they just do that with you, because that's what I did with Kellogg also. And it was like extra nice, like because it was in my feedback, but I did the reverse pickpocket on the 2 cents that are standing beside around him.
Yeah.
And they just blew up. They both blew up, and Kellogg's still there just waiting for me to finish our conversation or whatever. What's going on. He's just waiting. And then so I blew them up, and then I set a couple of mines in front of him, and he was totally cool with that. And then I went down in that little hallway. I went because I've had experience with him before. I put a bottle cap mine, a cryo mine, 2 frag mines, all that stuff right there. And then as soon as I started it, I went and I ran down to the end of the hallway, and I just waited, and eventually just blew himself up.
Nice. Do those daisy chain off of each other, or do they not?
Oh, I think they do. I think you can plop 3 down right on top of each other, and it's just 3 times the explosion.
But do you want to not get them too close to each other so that he can get damage from each one? Or
well, no, I think they stack because
I think it'll register either way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wanted to do it that way because, as Jess was talking about before, with that sentry bot that just missed the mines, I wanted to make sure they all
He felt so smart. Right. I tell you, oh my God! By the way, Ray, you started to say something a minute ago.
Oh, I was. So I looked up the voice actors, and so they're not the same.
Oh, they're not. Okay,
no,
they sound real close. Okay.
Yeah. Kasumi is Mimi Torres, and Julie is Grace Rolek.
Oh, geez. I said Casey because I was thinking of Casey from the WRVR mod. Wrong Casey. So it's not Casey. No, it's Julie. Yeah, that makes sense. They are different. Speaking of the Forged, a lot of people in chat are also scared to go there right now. Lee doesn't want to go yet. Steve doesn't want to go yet. People are avoiding Saugus.
It's tough.
But
told you I didn't want to go.
It's a good place to die.
I think I caught our friend Soph there. We've been hanging out a bit while she plays and doing that. And the other day, but also we were talking earlier about all the traps in Poseidon. Will, I was there with her when she discovered the Milton parking garage.
Ooh,
the whole Saw homage and just going through that with her hanging out. That was the best. It took 2 hours, and I was 5 or 6 in the morning. I'm like, I need to go to sleep, but I couldn't. I wanted to stay up while she did it, the whole thing. It was super fun. It was super fun just kind of, living that from someone seeing it for the first time.
The place is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's check in with Green Dragon. Hey, Jason. Kia ora.
Hello, this is Jason, aka Green Dragon, continuing the chronicles of Debbie Graber. August 2nd, 2288. Just got back from a mission with X688 and a scientist to get a beryllium agitator for our reactor. This will give us power indefinitely. We ran into a patrol of the Brotherhood of Steel while searching the building and was forced to take them out. August 25th, 2288. Today was my birthday, and some of the staff here that I've become friends with actually had a cake made for me. Afterwards, Father pulled me aside and told me to start getting ready to go out, as the Brotherhood of Steel had shown up recently and were getting very aggressive in their tramping around looking for tech. And we were going to have to give them a message that they could not ignore and destroy the giant robot they fixed up and their big airship as well. I've been put in charge of this mission and have to come up with a plan of attack. August 29, 2288. I have a plan and finally have the go-ahead to put it into action. We are going to reprogram the giant robot and get it to destroy the Predwin in itself. But I'm going in first with a Corsair called X688. I've worked with him before, and we are going to sneak in and destroy the devices they have that block teleporting. Then I'll have units of synths teleport in to help hold off the Brotherhood until the robot can be reprogrammed. I go in half an hour. August 30th, 2288. Big boom. It worked. I got in, took out the blockers, and with my army of synths, we took control of the robot and held it until it was reprogrammed, then teleported away as it started throwing nukes at the Predwin. The explosions lit up the sky like it was daytime. This will let whatever is left of the Brotherhood know that the Commonwealth belongs to the Institute. September 4th, 2288. Father called me to his apartment today and I found him lying in his bed dying. I had no idea he was so sick. Before he passed away, he said he had made me head of the Institute. I didn't know what to say and just sat there till he passed. October 7th, 2288. Oh my God, I didn't know grown people could be so childish. It just goes to prove Father made the right decision putting me in charge. The amount of tantrums I've had to stomp on because so-and-so didn't get to be in charge. I'm just glad the security division is fully behind me. October 8, 2288. I've had a report of synths starting up their own settlement in some place called Far Harbor. So tomorrow I'm going to head back to Sanctuary to see what Preston or Mama Murphy know about Far Harbor. October 9, 2288. While heading out of the city, I came across a place called the Combat Zone. So I went inside to see what it was all about, and as soon as I enter the main area, I'm under attack from multiple enemies. After I've taken control of the situation, I find the place is a fighting ring, and the main attraction is this woman called Kate. And after talking to her, I find I really like her in-your-face, no-bull attitude. The ghoul that runs the place tells her he doesn't want her anymore and offered her contract to me, and after I talked with her about it, she wasn't adverse to the arrangement. So now we're travelling together, and I think it's going to be fun getting to know her. October 11, 2288. On our way to Sanctuary, we came across a ghoul named Christopher who said his husband Edward had gone down a tunnel to explore a vault he had been talking to someone from and had not returned, so I agreed to have a look for him. I found some holotapes saying that Edward had gone to find this guy he had been communicating with. He believed he had fallen for him. Once we got into the vault, we find it full of crazy ghouls that attacked us on sight. We also found a girl called Annabelle holed up in a room, and she explained that when Edward had broken in, the Overseer had welcomed him in, and several months later, there was an announcement that everyone had to have an inoculation shot to protect them from outside contamination. This turned out to be a lie. It instead turned everyone into ghouls, except Annabelle. Instead, it turned her insides ghoulish, and she has been alive for over 100 years, never aging. I wonder if something like this has happened to me when I was in the glowing sea. Going to have the scientists and genetics have a look at me, and maybe I'll get Annabelle taken back for some comparisons. The rest of the vault dwellers turned into crazy ghouls or feral ghouls. Unfortunately, as we entered the secret room connected to the Overseer's office, Edward surprised us and opened fire. To protect me, X688 pushed me behind him, and a lucky shot did enough damage to disable it. Kate then stepped up and finished Edward off. After reading the console in the room, I found out this vault's experiment was in having an artificial intelligence run the vault with a puppet overseer, and it was the AI that was talking to Edward and got him to find the vault. It also was behind the idea to turn the residents into ghouls so they would be better able to survive outside the vault. Unfortunately, Edward had already destroyed the AI, so I couldn't have it questioned about what it had done, but I'll be marking this vault as a place of interest to be investigated later. October 14, 2288. We spent a couple of days resting, repairing, and talking to Preston. As luck would have it, Preston has had a request from someone asking for help because their daughter has apparently run away to this Far Harbor place. We're resting up here tonight and going to head to see the parents tomorrow.
Well, yeah, good luck, and I hope you go off to Far Harbor to find them. He mentioned the beryllium agitator right at the beginning there. That was going to be one of the car parts versus nuclear plant things, but I figured you guys would get that one right off the bat.
Yeah.
I think he may be the only person in the roundtable so far who has finished the main story all the way and rolled credits. I'm not sure. A couple people have progressed a bit far in the main story, but in survival, it takes a little while unless you can play a bit. But man, such great feedback from Jason, hearing that stuff, hearing about, his justification for the Institute and how he's doing things, the story with his Vault 28 experience. And you notice how he talked about, he got the ghoulish level 3 as well from Mad Rock, but he was thinking that maybe he got that ghoulish from In the Glowing Sea. So that's how he did it in the role play. That's what that was referring to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get that. Cool.
Yeah. What date do we exit the vault? Like, I know it's 2287 or whatever. Is it in October? Is it
October 23rd? Yeah.
It is a bomb.
It's always on the anniversary. That's what they do.
Okay.
Yep.
I wasn't sure if that was what it was, because I was just about to say his last one was October 14th, so he's almost been out the vault 1 year. So
one whole year.
It's coming up on that 1 year.
Wow. I'm only at about 50 days, I think, on my character. 45 to 50 days at this point.
Yeah, I think I'm in late January. I'm not sure.
And
November.
I was just in Vault 28 myself, and then I asked in the group, but can you go back down in there? Because there's too much stuff. I couldn't carry all the good stuff out with
You
me.
can definitely go in the back door, though. Go in the back door.
Right.
It's so much easier. Yep.
Yeah.
Just go right in, travel up the elevator any level you want. You can grab all the things.
Will do. All right. Thank you so much, Jason. Lovely feedback, sir. Let's check in with Blaze.
Frank Slaughter, Interlude. Unfortunately, I've not had a whole lot of time to play on Fallout lately, so I'm a bit behind in getting to Far Harbor. Probably will be try to catch up for next week. Instead of more Frank story this week, I'll be just doing a review of my experiences with survival mode so far. So overall, I feel survival mode is quite fun and challenging. Between the high difficulty and the unarmed only, it's forcing me to be a lot more tactical and avoid fights rather than just run up into them like I normally do. I have to run away quite a bit, especially for anything fairly strong. Combat, as always with Bethesda games, the unarmed kill cams are really cool. I've been stomping on rad roaches and whatnot. It's just something you really rarely see. Mostly been using VATs since I have the high luck build. Only issue I have with that is at the very end of VAT, it always seems to just wait like 2 or 3 seconds before it lets you get out of it, and which ends up usually getting me or letting me get hit 2 or 3 more times with either like a ghoul or bullets, which is not fun because healing is tough in survival mode. I've ended up using explosive a lot more than normal, even though I don't have any perks in explosive. Just a lot of grenades, a lot of Molotovs, a lot of landmines. I never have enough of them. So for settlements have been a little bit tricky this time. Definitely different from what I normally do. Normally I go through the game each time I hit a settlement. I scrap everything in it, build it up somewhat, start getting settlers into the beacons and all that stuff. But since I will never have enough for charisma for local leader. That means I don't have any supplies and provisioners to go between camps, so all the junk is locked into the one camp, and I don't have any. I can't make any extra crafting benches, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. Right
So
now,
difficult.
I've really not done much building, except like just bolt holes here and there with a bed and a water spigot. That's about it. Of course, this really affects my assigned settlement, Coastal Cottage, quite a bit since it has no crafting in it to begin with. It's about as far from central as you can get.
What a bad one to roll. Oh my goodness.
It's a little bit of strange build. So really, I haven't done pretty much anything with it. I might look into sim settlements and see if that can kind of avoid the issue I have and let them do it on their own. I don't know if you can set up provisioners and whatnot with that, even if you don't have a local leader, but I'll find out. Quest-wise, it's been pretty fun. Like I said, I've had to come at it a lot differently. For the added mods, I haven't really gotten a chance to go down to any of the three. The one by Glowing Sea, I haven't been down that area at all. I tried to do the Radium Ink one, and I know it's been working because the loot's been showing up everywhere. But when I went to the quest location, the elevator was blocked with some junk, and I couldn't get in. Which is, from my little bit of research I did, a fairly regular problem. So, yeah, I guess I'm just not going to end up doing that one. But I'm moving on to Far Harbor next, which should be fun. Perks-wise, I've gotten most of the assigned perks maxed out for as far high as the level as I can go right now. I'm about level 22 right now, I believe. So I've been slowly filling them out and then getting extra perks outside of those, mainly to do with the VATs. And a few extras, like I got one in Blacksmith just to be able to get my gear up a little bit, and I just got an Armorer perk because I'm getting tired of dying. So hopefully that'll help with this. Gear-wise, my main weapon is, as you guessed it, the Deathclaw Gauntlet from the Museum of Witchcraft. I really haven't had much problems with killing almost anything outside of bosses within just one or two hits. It is very powerful. Issue is either getting to them or killing them, and then getting away before something else kills me. That's an issue because Frank is basically the definition of a glass cannon. Hits hard, but can't take pretty much any hits at all. I've tried layering armor on him as much as I can, but right now most of it is either leather or metal. And I got a few legendary pieces that I bought from the vendors around the Commonwealth, but I haven't had much luck with legendary drops. It's also mostly been like leather or radar armor with not very good effects, like just poison resistance. Not really super useful for me. And then all my I really haven't had any. Well, not I haven't. I definitely have not had any legendary drops for unarmed weapons. It's been like wrenches and switchblades and a few pipe pistol legendary drops, but that's about it. So still looking for that. But hopefully the armor perk, and if I can get lucky, I can get some good armor to help Frank survive a little bit longer. I am really looking forward to doing Far Harbor because and don't laugh about this, but I've never actually done Far Harbor before. I've always ended up being distracted by something else in the wasteland. and I've never gotten around to doing that.
Fractions.
So this should be fun. That's it for me.
Right on.
We'll see y'all in the wasteland.
Thanks, Blaze. I think Keith hasn't done Far Harbor before. I think there's a fair share of people
There are
who've
a
never
couple who
been
haven't.
over there.
Sherry hasn't. Oh, notoriously calling out my damn Sherry. Sherry's never done Far Harbor.
Yeah.
Sherry, do Far Harbor.
Get Far Harbor. Come on.
I used to chase her down about it, and then she finally said she would. She started it and stopped. I don't remember why she stopped, but she did. Or maybe she did it and didn't like it, and so I blacked that out because it can't be true. But anyway, yeah, I harassed her about it for years.
Because of the fog crawlers. Come on.
For Blaze, I just want to make sure he knows right away. You mentioned you'll never have local leader 2 on this character. You're starting special. You can still adjust. You can get bobbleheads. You can use levels to put points in special. I know you're only level 22, and so you haven't had many extra points yet. But you can. I mean, if you really want it, you can focus on that because having Coastal Cottage as your settlement, which Will has as well, right, Will?
Ugh.
Yes.
Yeah, having that incredibly inconvenient back ass of nowhere settlement as your official settlement, supply lines would probably help, and crafting benches for sure. So, you know, feel free to do that, but you do have to grind up some levels to do that.
Ain't no
That was definitely one that I put points in to before, like when even some of my other assigned perks didn't have the points yet. It's like I sort of beelined it to that one and strong bag.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a long way to go. So he's got Charisma 4.
Yeah.
So if he does the Cabot House quest, gets the Charisma bobblehead, then he only has to add 1 to be able to hit local leader. And you only need local leader 1 to get supply lines.
2 just lets you build stores and stuff, right?
Yeah,
and
the craft benches.
Yeah.
But he could build a supply line over to Coastal Cottage.
Which
so
is kind of useful, though, when you're trying to build up all these settlements.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's doable.
All right. Well, good luck.
But yeah, sim settlements won't let you build supply lines if you don't have local leader.
Wah, wah. Come on, sim settlements. All right, so we have one quest to burn through here real quick, and then Will, I see that you prepared a game or 2 here. So let's try to burn through our quest, and then maybe play a game on our way out the door. See, Ray, you didn't do the first one. You went right to the Nakana house. Did you take a walk in the park by chance?
I did indeed.
Tell me about your walk with your nice companion guy.
It was quiet and idyllic.
A nice peaceful walk.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so when you get to the dock, you've got a couple of islanders waiting for you. Captain Avery is questioning why why you're visiting. We don't get many visitors here.
You say, shut up.
So you can tell her about Kasumi. She acknowledges that that she had been through there. And if then the mariner comes out and says there's an attack. And so Avery says, if you help us with this, I'll answer any questions you've got.
You forgot about the welcoming party of Mr. Alan Lee or whatever that guy's name is. Good Lord.
Oh, was there somebody else there? I don't know. I heard mosquitoes buzzing.
I killed him and pushed him off the fucking dock.
Wait, isn't he the nice guy in the took?
Oh, he's such a nice gentleman. You're right.
Yeah.
That's sort of their MO, huh? Like have sort of a grumpy guy kind of meet you, and then someone nicer comes along.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely do that for contrast. I haven't been there yet this playthrough, so I'm not sure, but people were talking about Alan earlier.
Yeah. He's hard to miss. So you get to the wall. Some people come running up. Let us in. They're like, no, You are outside the wall and staying outside the wall because something's chasing you. We don't know what yet, but something's chasing you, and we don't want to take a chance of opening the door, letting you in, and having them show up.
Yeah. Well, that's awful. That's awful. Okay.
Well, there's
and so
protocol.
Then the gulpers arrive. Mayhem ensues. Lots
Do they
of
kill
Molotovs.
the people outside? Do you manage to save them? Not sure.
I'm not sure. I don't remember how many. So I don't do a lot of looting with this character. And so I didn't loot any of the gulpers or the anglers. Because I needed to get my pit boy fixed. And so I ran in and rented a bed in the last plank.
Is that a reference to you can't throw grenades because you toggled this and that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I couldn't open up my pit boy. And I knew I didn't have a lot of inventory, but I wasn't sure exactly how little I had. But that was because I forgot that I had taken, when I take the mysterious serum, which I do a little bit later, my inventory ratchets up nicely. But anyway, so I went in, did a save in the bed, and was able to figure out how to get my Pip Boy working again. So I ran downstairs and talked to old Longfellow, who, doesn't want to lead, somebody else to their death. So, you need to just go take a hike. You can tell him, that, you can handle yourself. And ask him, how many caps is it going to take to get you to go?
a stiff cap.
He says, I don't want your caps. But if you have a whiskey, I'll take a whiskey.
Drink it up.
I mean, that works in the wasteland. Absolutely works.
Is there also a magazine sitting on his table? Maybe.
Yeah.
Islanders
it gives it gives you the location of some points of interest.
Yeah.
And where are you meeting old Longfellow? Is this still in Far Harbor or at his cabin?
In the last plank.
In the bar.
Okay.
Yeah, on the docks.
Yeah, I didn't have to give him a whiskey. I guess one of the options is, I forgot what you can say, but it's like, what kind of cold-hearted person would forget about a kid or like not care or something like that. It was one of those speech checks, and I said that he was able to.
I'm surprised he didn't reply, well, you're looking at him, kid.
Yeah, he was definitely like also grumpy when you first meet him too.
So I brought a bottle of whiskey with me, so he cheered right up.
Well, you can also get one at
whiskey with me because I read something. You guys were like, be sure to bring whiskey. And I was like, oh, okay, I need whiskey for a Longfellow.
You can buy one at the bar right behind you, though.
You can buy one, sure.
So he agrees to help
out. So the first thing you do, you exit the gate and you go out, and there's some trappers at the supermarket. Clear them out, and then there's some ghouls at the boat on the dock.
Yeah,
take care of them. Then you head up the road.
Yeah.
You run into some wolves. You take them out. And
meanwhile, you keep taking radiation in that fog. Yeah.
Well, except that as soon as we left the wall in Far Harbor, I popped a mysterious serum.
Yeah.
There you go.
I reluctantly took a Rad-X because I didn't want to be all susceptible to that.
Took a
more
Rad-X.
illnesses and stuff. Yeah.
Took a Rad-X, and then you
resistance.
immediately got fatigue and bacteria and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So at this point, by the time we got done with the wolves, Longfellow hadn't killed anything.
Really?
I had killed everything.
What's he use?
Because I sniped the trappers.
Mm-hmm.
So I took them out and then chainsawed the wolves. And so he's like, well, I guess you can take care of yourself.
Go ahead. Have fun.
And so, you head up a little bit further, and then there's a gulper and some mirelurks. And so I think there were like 4 of them. So I had 3 of them attack me, and I took them out with the Ripper. And then Longfellow's sitting there, bang, 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 and still not killing his mirelurk. So I just ran up behind the thing and hit it with my Ripper, and it exploded, and off we went.
What kind of weapon does he use?
I'm not even sure.
Is it just a hunting rifle?
I'm thinking
of some
maybe.
sort?
Nah, I think maybe he might use one of the lever actions. I can't remember what he's using.
As long as it's not a harpoon gun.
Yeah. Does he not use that old reliable, or do you get that old reliable from somewhere else?
Yeah, you buy that at the store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then you run into a couple of ghouls. He didn't kill any of them. We talked to the child of Adam.
Not the children, because there's just one.
Yeah. And he says, why don't I just shoot you in the head right now?
Because it would take 38 shots.
One of your dialogue options is, well, go ahead and shoot her. But do it. I chose to converse, and so I told him that I'd look him up later.
Nice.
And then from that point, you're pretty much done.
You're up at the Acadia place.
Yeah, it happened really fast.
It is quick, but you do get that one cool little sound clip too of like the fog crawler. I guess it's a fog crawler, and that it sounds so much more menacing hearing it right there. Than in when you just see them in 76 and they're not too scary or anything.
Yeah,
but that it sounded like it echoes throughout the entire island.
Well, I actually have a recording of it right here, Will.
That definitely, yeah.
It strikes fear for sure.
I'm quivering right now. Now, when you get there, in my notes, I know old Longfellow wanted to say one more thing before you go in. Now, does he warn you about Acadia, or what does he tell you? What are his words of wisdom that he gives you before you wrap up the quest and go in? Do you guys remember?
Does he say anything about sense or anything?
He just says it's trouble. I don't remember exactly what he says.
Acadia's trouble?
You should be able to hear it clearly on my stream, since you couldn't hear me talking over it.
Has he interacted with Dima in the past?
I don't know anything directly, but you have to imagine that he has.
Okay. Yeah, I think he probably has, if anyone has, right?
Yeah.
So he's been in and checked it out and everything.
Yeah.
Cool. I only got about halfway up the hill before I had to quit, and I haven't gotten all the way up to
and then, of course, then he's all nice, and he's like, yeah, come by my cabin whenever you want, share some whiskey and drinks, and you're going to be best buds from then on.
Well, he's able to become your companion then, and then you can
your follower.
Use his house can you build there? Is there a workbench and everything there?
Yep, there's a workbench and everything. I destroyed his couch and made a bed.
Attaboy.
Because his bed is labeled as owned.
I didn't know
so
you
I
could
made
do
my
that.
own.
That's cool. And do you have to do anything else to get right? Because you escorted him, or he escorted you up the hill, and he's now able to be your companion, you also have access to his place right there? You don't have to run off and do anything extra?
Yeah, no, nothing extra.
Cool.
So that is my assigned Far Harbor settlement. So I grabbed that.
Oh, nice.
And so I will, I went back to the Commonwealth, and so I'll head down and make a robot purveyor and send them to old Longfellow's cabin.
Make sure you put
since it's my settlement.
Put a Mr. Handy thruster on them so he can fly over the water instead of walking along the bottom of the ocean.
There you
go. Do you know anything about...
So that'll give me a fast travel point into Far Harbor.
Nice.
And out.
Do you know anything about him? Because he is my assigned companion, old Longfellow. What does he like? What does he dislike? Drinking, I assume he likes.
I would think so, because he talks about coming and getting stinking drunk with him.
Well, party boy or party girl is one of my perks, and I just took the first level of that, so I'm like hoping I can just like sit there and pound like 15 beers and have max affinity and get rid of him, so I can just be back to cat meat and have my full carry weight again.
Yeah, I've heard you say that, and you haven't taken you just haven't experimented much with party boy, party girl yet.
No.
I don't know how great it is in Fallout 4. I mean, it still has the same perks, like the same benefits, but party boy, party girl is one I always typically ignored too, and even in 76, but now it's one I regularly keep equipped, almost not quite all the time, but if I go do an event, especially if I go do something like Earl or anything like that, not for like the whiskeys and all that stuff with carry weight, but for vodka specifically, because you get the plus 50 health.
Oh, okay.
So, and in 76, if, you can take different ranks of it, and then that, it, just multiplies, and that's pretty useful. So here we are in survival mode in Fallout 4, save that vodka up and do that, and it will give you much more health when you're fighting.
And I noticed, I don't know if it's the second or third level, but you get +2 luck. What benefits does luck give you while just running around the wasteland? Does that give me like a higher chance of legendary enemies, or what does that actually do?
Your crit meter fills faster.
Crit meter fills faster. Okay. Is that it? Do you think?
Maybe just find more cat. I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
I was like, oh sweet, +2 luck. Then I was thinking, what does that do?
What does it actually do?
It says it, a measure of your general good fortune, like in the description.
Yeah.
So it's helping with the critical hits, and the recharger of critical hits are classic, but it's got to boost other things a little bit. Some of the games, they make it, you get extra points in your skills or various things from it. I imagine it just makes you more likely to get perfectly preserved pie. I don't know.
More Scrounger works better. I'll find more ammo that I'm actually looking for instead of like, oh yay, 38 rounds of 38. Yay. Who knows?
So Longfellow likes you to be peaceful.
What?
Selfish. And drink alcohol.
Okay, party boy and Longfellow. We're gonna go have a hootenanny and see if we can max his affinity here.
So Andrew, you're going to go hang out with Longfellow. You're going to drink 15 brews. You're going to get your affinity with him, and you're going to get 1,050 score.
Sweet. And I will reload it until it turns into 5,000.
That doesn't work in 76.
Oh, God damn it.
You mutant hounded us, so I wanted to hit you back with scoreboard. Scorecation, a couple more weeks, but we don't know. Might be done soon.
No, don't say that. You're going to speak it into existence. They're going to forget about the scoreboard, and it's going to go till August. We can all cross our fingers and wish.
I think I'd be okay with that. I think I'd be okay with not.
I'm having too much fun in 4. I don't want to cheat on 4 with 76 right now.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with starting a little late, taking your time,
Yeah,
take
I've
the
seen
first
you
couple weeks of
guys
the season
do
off.
it, and especially
Mhm.
since this season feel like it dragged on a long time. I still feel like you could just play on the weekends and get it. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally could.
Yeah.
Look at me. I get it. And when it comes to score, I'm only working on it once, maybe twice a week.
And actually, since I haven't played for a couple months now, it seems, I still have the subscription, so I'm still getting atoms, so I could just buy the last 20 levels anyway if I don't actually spend those. So let's
True.
save them up. All right. Hey, Will, you brought a game. What are we doing?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sure. I feel like we're going long. So I brought 2 games. I'm going to cut one of these off. We'll save it for another time. It's a little bit lengthier, more complex, and all that stuff. So
yeah, I'm getting droopy eyed. I might not be in my best brain right now.
I'll stick that one in my back pocket. I'm sure y'all
Fun.
have me on again some other time. So
Absolutely.
we'll just do a quick one that it's basically the same game as we did one time before. I'm just gonna. Oh, I need paper. Call out some things, and it's things that all have something in common. So I'm gonna name things, say some things out loud, and when you realize what they have in common, say your name and say what it is. If you get it in two items, you get 3 points. If you get it in 3, it's 2 point. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. If you get it in 2, if you get it in 2, that's 3 points. If you get it in 3, that's 2 points. 4 or more is 1 point.
Just one. Yep.
So we'll go like that. So these are very simple. Yeah, y'all are probably.
Do we chime in with our names?
It's going to be just who chimed in first. I think that will get all of these. Not as good.
Okay, things in common. You're going to list objects or items, and we're going to try to guess what
whatever
they have in
it was. I think one time, if I were to, this is a example, but I think football, basketball, baseballs, it would be all balls or all sports balls or something, something
okay.
like that. So whatever kind of silly thing. So here we go. I just shuffled them up. We have a bowler hat, fisherman's overalls,
clothing. Andrew, clothing.
Well, it's more specific.
Okay.
Yes, Triggerman.
No, not fisherman's overalls. For trigger, do the Triggerman with it? I don't think so. Okay, so bowler hat, fisherman's overalls, padded blue jacket, laundered loungewear, sea captain's hat.
Andrew, endurance clothing.
There you go.
That was nice. 4, so I got negative points.
I saved sea captain's hat for a 5th because I knew that was going to be
Blue padded jacket tipped me off.
All right. Okay. Magnolia, Nick Valentine, Roger Warwick.
Jess. Characters that are likely or actually synths.
There you go.
Oh,
that's 2
nice.
for Jess. Okay. Blast radius. Autopsy.
Jess. Board games.
Board games.
Nice.
Here we go. Refractor. Rifleman.
Andrew, perks. In the perception column.
Perception. There you go. Okay. You got that in 2, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
You got full 3 points on that one.
Okay. Okay. Ticonderoga.
Jess. Safe houses.
Wow. Very good.
Good.
Okay.
Nice.
Sorry, you don't get 4 points for that, but. Well, the thing was, I had started off with Augusta, but we had just said Augusta. I was thinking about man, this is a thing coming up later on. Okay.
Nice.
Spot. Old girl.
Andrew, dog names.
Andrew knows this one. No. Try again, Andrew.
The cat names? I don't know.
Wait, are we both wrong?
What did you say, Jess? I didn't hear you.
No, Andrew said cat names. He said dog names first, then I said no.
Neither
it's
one
not
of those.
cat
Y'all are
names?
both wrong.
Both wrong.
No.
You, Jess.
So
What you got, Jess?
Old girl. Idiot.
Oh.
Clarabelle.
Jess. Brahmin names.
Brahmin.
There you go. Right. Okay.
Clarabelle, I knew.
Give you definite.
Who's idiot?
Yeah. Idiot is the one that travels around with Doc Weathers.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
got to see him the other day because Lee had mentioned seeing Idiot in his travels.
Oh,
and
nice.
he was with Doc Weathers.
That's funny.
We should just let Ray have that one. I'm sorry, Ray.
Okay.
Okay. All Faiths Chapel. Choice Chops. Neil Tap House. Commonwealth Weaponry.
Jess, I guess store names?
You can more
Buildings in specific in Diamond City?
Buildings in Diamond City. Very good.
Oh, wow.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
The other tap house.
Dora. Emmett. Toro. Ashes.
Andrew.
Crazy.
Kitty cats.
Kitty cats. There you go. That time it was cat names.
There you go.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Well, we only just a
Ashamed.
few cards left here.
Ashamed.
You get
Okay.
1 point still. You got it.
I gave him a point. Yeah. The Terrible Truth.
Jess,
Fear.
articles by Piper.
No.
Darn it. Sorry, I was
Good
trying.
guess. No, it's not a bad guess. That's actually a very good guess, I think. Fear the Knife King. Mutant Fists of Stuffy Knuckles. Nuka Brahmin Stampede. That No Caps Rage. That's all there are of these. So no one gets that?
No,
Okay.
they're songs by Red Eye on Raider Radio. Maybe?
It's Scav magazines. Those are all titles of Scav magazines.
I was going to say
It had to be
vendor
Raiderlicious,
magazines.
but I had no idea.
You were right. You were close. Yeah, you were right there. Okay. Nat Wright, Ellie Perkins, Danny Sullivan,
Andrew?
Myrna.
Jess?
Oh, Andrew.
People in Diamond City?
There you go. I will give you the 2 points on that. You
Yes.
chimed in just as I was saying the Myrna's name there. I was thinking Myrna was the giveaway for sure, and then I was going to go Vadim. Okay.
Mine was Danny, yeah.
Well, because I mean, we knew in 2, but we didn't really know that was what linked them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because at first
yeah.
I'm thinking young ladies in Diamond City. You know what I mean?
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, I know. It's I'm not penalizing y'all for guessing early. You know, if you don't get it, you don't get it. You can still go.
Take
But,
away points.
Curie, Miss Edna.
Jess, Miss Nanny
Jess.
Bots.
There you go, Nanny Bots.
Nanny bots. Nice. Pearl.
Okay. Oh, this one's interesting. Green Dragon. Catherine.
Jess,
Swear.
people
go
sending in
ahead.
feedback this season.
For the first time, I think.
Yes, and it's pronounced Swirly Immortal.
Swirl, I was going to butcher it on
Immortal.
purpose, but I didn't want to do that. I also have written down here, so as a quick shout out to all these people, and I'm not sure if I missed anyone. I went back to try to look. I have Green Dragon, Catherine, Swear I'm Normal, Soph, Tyrell. I know a couple of these are in the Facebook group, and I see their names a lot, but I don't know if they've submitted feedback. But Tyrell, Jeff, Keith, Jason, Taz, Cosmo, and Blaze. Just a shout out to those. for all the
Jeff
first
Jeff
time.
has this isn't
Jeff
Jeff's
has?
first time. Yeah, he has before.
he was one that I wasn't quite sure, like I couldn't remember, but I didn't want to leave him out if he was.
Yeah. I'd like to second that
Definitely
emotion.
see his feedbacks, or his posts in the Facebook group all the time.
I definitely want to second that, Will. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, that was going to be the tiebreaker, but we didn't need that because Jess ran away with it.
Jess
Sorry.
kicked their asses. Ray, you're a little quiet over there.
But I can't win all the
He was
games.
muted again. Yeah, you had that problem again, Ray. Like
He was muted.
your
Ray, he would have
computer, like-
won. His Pit Boy was muted.
You could tell we really wanted it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Will. Fun game. Yeah, tuck that other one in your back pocket. We'll have you on again soon, and we can we'll play this other one. All right. Some quick iguana bits on the way out the door, Jess?
You guys, Starfield Direct is coming up in 9 days. 8 days, probably by the time you hear this, maybe 7 days. It's going to be 6 soon. I cannot wait till it's just 2 days, maybe 1. Starfield Direct, y'all. That's what I'm excited about. That's my iguana bits. Community calendar, just a quick shout out. Oh, what's that? Oh, nothing, Bethesda. There's nothing happening really this weekend.
Nothing.
Technically, it's script surplus and double mutations. That's the same thing as nothing because it's not double score. It's not extra XP, and it's not a roadmap. So, yeah, not much on the calendar, just Starfield and Xbox and other showcases. Good times.
Awesome. All right. Well, Will, thank you so much for hopping on the show tonight, sir. Always a pleasure to hear from you.
Always a delight too. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for influencing us back in the day to give a survival mode a really good effort, because I probably wouldn't have given it a try a couple months ago without your influence, and that definitely got me to start twisting arms of Jess and Ray.
Are you just trying to get everyone to hate me and not you?
No, it's like, I haven't heard anyone be like, fuck this. Like, not that they would send in feedback saying that, but like absolutely every single person has been having a grand old time with survival.
That's sort of the impression actually I get too.
Yeah. People grumbling like, why am I doing this to myself? Then they go back and do it some more. And I've even seen several say, now that I've started survival mode, I don't want to play any other way. Like,
that's what happened to me. I told you how terrible my first experience was, and survival's not for me. But I guess, got a little bit under my belt, and then just last roundtable, I was like, hey, let's just give this a real shot. And something about it stuck.
I need that settlement fast travel mod, though. I mean, I'm not doing the pure survival experience, and I think the pure survival experience is a little bit too brutal.
I think, yeah.
If it wasn't for the round table, though, I would try it. But,
yeah, I remember Pat saying everyone should try sort of vanilla one time, and then you could do it. So I restricted myself a little bit more this time than I did that last time. I used a couple of things to help me out, and I am still this time using the, like the give me back my bottle and what was the other one? Not too much, but I am still using that. But other than that, I'm actually really am trying to get as close to vanilla as possible. Plus, this whole vegetarian thing is actually much harder than it sounds.
I forgot you're doing that. That's a common thing you do from multiple gameplays. I know in 76
yeah,
you
I
usually
do. It's
take
fun.
the,
Just because I don't call myself a vegetarian in real life, but I almost never do eat meat. So it's just something I kind of throw into the video games when I can.
Yeah, of course. Right on. Well, you can find him and all of his findings over there at Will Wonka on the Twitters. Do you have an Instagram or anything that you had been running the ASA podcasting on Instagram for a while back in the day?
I need to apologize, I guess, that I've neglected that. But if you follow my Twitter, you notice I'm not posting anything there either. I don't know why I'm slacking on that. Now I'm just like throwing thousands of photos into the Facebook group, it seems like.
Follow him on Facebook to see his wonderful Fallout 4 survival
or follow
mode
the group in the group, because they'll just go in the group.
But they are remarkable pictures too. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, go ahead and join up there. Will posts awesome pictures there as well. Will, thank you so much for hopping on tonight and bringing a game.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. You can find him over there on the Twitters at RayLB, also at BBCISSS for the Butcher, Baker, Candlemaker, and Space show. That is about all of your No Man's Sky needs. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on tonight.
Good times.
She can be found at Sleep is for Tea, also at You Wastelanders for all of your wasteland building needs, and at Dames Who Game. Jess, thanks so much.
Thanks.
I can be found at Indie Android. The show is at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
Quick shout out, happy birthday, Sherry.
Hey, happy birthday,
happy
Sherry.
birthday.
Yeah, it's her birthday today. She's celebrating, playing some ESO, doing some stuff with the family. I was just talking to her before the show.
Great. Good day, Sherry.
Tell her to pound sand.
Everything just takes so long, and there's things you want to get done.
Bang, 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 bang.
Go in the back door, though. Go in the back door.
Right.
It's so much easier.
Run up into them like I normally do.
Big Boom.
Much dismemberment.
I can use any drug I want.
Good shit versus bad shit.